Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Years ago that sports car lovers first took to the streets of this sleepy little lakeside village in upstate New York and held a Grand Prix. And with a layout of over 6.5 miles and spectators cheering away from just inches off the road, off the pavement, on the sidewalks, it didn't take long before the need for just a little bit of safety advancement, not only for the drivers but for the spectators, led to the construction of a purpose-built facility here in 1956. In addition to being the first permanent site of the United States Formula One Grand Prix, tonight's venue has also played host to Can-Am, to Trans Am, IndyCar, IMSA, and of course, NASCAR. Hi everyone, and welcome to Watkins Glen International, tonight's venue for round number 3 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge, presented by Performatex's Elite Graphics, and welcome our new sponsor, Butt Kicker, here to Apex Racing TV. 7 rounds in 3 continents, and some of the best GT3 and GTP virtual racers around. And tonight we challenge our combatants with the first of 2 90-minute contests in this very young season, number 6. I'm Greg Ginsburg, and joining me in the announce booth as always is Larry Lefty McLeod, along with the 2 Johns, Jonathan Grabowski and John Robertson, in the virtual production trailer, bringing you all the views of tonight's action. And so, Larry, you know, it may not be the 6 hours of the Glen, and I know we'd all rue that tonight, but our first of 2 90-minute endurance races this season is tonight, and it will definitely present some new challenges that some of our racers really haven't encountered over the first 2 rounds of the season.
Did you say we're doing 2 90-minute races tonight? Oh,
yes.
You said first of 2
back
tonight.
to back.
Okay, just want to make sure I have my schedule cleared appropriately. But yes, endurance to the endurance degree here tonight. 90 minutes of the Glen. This is gonna be a good time. I can't wait to see you watch these GTP cars lap this place in about 48 seconds or whatever they're gonna do.
Yeah, it's
they're
gonna be quick.
Screaming around here, probably carrying 120 or so through the bus stop. It's gonna be pretty wild. I'm loving the way that our season's shaping up. We got a lot of people coming into these classes. We got a lot of people who are being challenged in ways they haven't been in the past. And I think that's really great for the series. And I think tonight, as we reach kind of the midway point of the season almost, this should be a pretty good matchup in all classes.
Yeah, indeed, Larry. We've got almost 40 drivers that are going to be with us here tonight at the Glen. And this 90-minute race is going to definitely present some challenges for our GTP racers. They are likely going to have to make 2 pit stops with those brand new BMW M Hybrid V8s. It's not like driving a Prius around for like 700 or 800 miles. They're going to have to take quite a bit of fuel this evening. And I think our GT3 drivers are really going to have to figure out whether or not they can make their fuel loads live for that entire night, for just one pit stop, or if they have to take a splash of gas at the end. It's really going to come down, I think, in both classes to strategy. But, you know, Larry, let's do this. As we do each week, we turn things over primarily to Kevin Ford. Sometimes, you know, when we have a slight lapse in judgment, we turn things over to Bobby Childs. But tonight, we're going to go back. We're going to hand things over to Kevin Ford. He's going to give us tonight's track guide from Watkins Glen International.
Welcome, everyone, to the incredible Watkins Glen circuit located here in beautiful Watkins Glen, New York. We are just up the road from Lake Seneca, and we are going to take you around a track that has just incredible character. It is a gem to drive. Well, let's get started as we head up the front straightaway. Pit area to the right, main grandstands to the left as we get ready to tackle this 3.45-mile road course. Across the stripe, we'll head down into this very fast entry of turn 1. It is known as the 90, and it is a very tight right-hander. Very busy at the start of races here, as you can imagine. Heading up the uphill S's here, we'll keep this throttle wide open up through this section. As we head back to the right, exit out onto the backstretch. First slipstream opportunity for drivers here as they head down into the famous bus stop here at the Glen. Come down on the brakes. We'll take a little bit of curb on entry, not too much here. We'll come right back to throttle. Run up off the exit here and set up our entry into the carousel. We'll come right to the bottom, use that curb there to help get that car to rotate. Back to the right here, down through the chute, and into this left-hander. Very fast left-hander, love coming off this corner. You can really carry a lot of speed down the hill here. Into what's known as the toe. We are in the boot section of the course here at the Glen. Known as the boot because an aerial view actually looks like this is a boot here in this portion of the course. Now we'll head to the heel of the boat. Heavy braking here down into this right-hander. Get that car to rotate, track out up off the exit, come back to the right, set up the re-entry into the main portion of the course here, the NASCAR portion of the course. Back to throttle, back up through the gears. We'll head into turn 11 here. Very fast left-hand sweeper, come right back to throttle, let that car track up. We'll come back to the left and set up our entry for the final corner here at the Glen as we head up off the exit and race down the front straightaway here towards the finish line. There you go. There is your track guide for the beautiful Watkins Glen. Thank you for being with us.
And thanks so much to Kevin Ford for tonight's track guide of Watkins Glen International. 11 turns, almost 3.5 miles, Larry, and just nothing but blue arm to keep you on the pavement there for the entire way around. But again, a great run there from Kevin Ford, and I think behind the wheel of that BMW, you can see really how fast this track can be. So as we've got our drivers now,
well, yeah, you mentioned that blue arm cone. It's mesmerizing. If you've done anything longer than a typical 25-minute whatever public race here, you just start to see that stuff in your sleep. You just start to see these streaks of blue with, and then thrown in with the orange and red curving sort of in between, and it just beats on you over and over again. There's some of the tracks you can do. You know, we've run Sebring, Daytona, other places. There's something about this one though that just over a long period of time just starts to drone on and on. And I don't know if it's the focus you need in certain corners or not, but this place, it's going to be tough. It's a real test of endurance, I think, tonight.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, without a doubt, I've you know, obviously I've raced the track in real life, and I have a number of other drivers. A good friend of mine, the very first time he ever raced at Watkins Glen, he just got out of the car, and the first thing he said to me was, "This place is terrifying." And I think it's exactly what you said. You get this tunnel vision around the track, Larry, and you know, you have that endless Armco on either end, with so few places like the inner loop, like the bus stop here, you know, where you see it kind of disappear off into the distance for a while, but otherwise it's always up on you, and you start to look at the patterns of the uprights holding that guardrail up, and it's it is something you end up seeing in your sleep. All right, so Larry, we've got our drivers. They're out for their qualifying sessions right now. They've just started. They have a 15-minute time limit in order to set a fast lap for tonight's grid, but it's not just that. We give them only 4 flying laps in order to set the grid for tonight's race. And as you see here, as we're watching one of our prototype machines on track right now, this is Shane Larson, and Shane was our fastest driver in practice earlier tonight, driving the number 17 M Hybrid V8. And as he goes around, he looks and thinks he's got the whole track to himself, and essentially he does. You know, cuts down on the ability for drivers to use the draft in qualifying, and you really have to set a fast lap based on just your interaction with the car and your interaction with the track. And so there's another one of our drivers on track right now in his GTP car. That is Palakui Grant, and he is our 2-time winner so far this season in GTP, currently leading the championship standings. We'll get to that in just a moment, but took the win at Daytona, and then took the win 2 weeks ago at the Hungaro Ring as well. All right, so as we've got drivers going out, and many of them on their first flying laps here, some of them on their second already, let's point out how you can tell the different cars apart here with our timing system. Now, the prototype cars, pretty easy to tell. Those BMW M8s and M Hybrid V8s, pardon me, of course, they've got black number boards on them. They've got black windshield banners and, well, usually green mirrors, but you'll see them on the timing tower on the left-hand side of your screen with the blue position numbers.
They don't really need mirrors very much, so don't worry about which. That's why the mirrors are different color.
They're not using the mirrors. You shouldn't use them either. If we move over to the GT3 cars, as we take a look at Mike Dam, who after one flying lap is your provisional pole sitter in the class GT3. We've got split up into the Pro category and the AM category. The Pro category, they've got red number boards, red mirrors, red windshield banners, red end plates on the wings, and when you take a look at the timing tower, you'll see their positioning with the red color there, except when we're focusing on the car. For example, Mike Dam, you'll notice it looks black right now, and that tells you that that's the car that we're actually looking at on track. Our GT3 AM drivers, there we go, as we look at Brennan Horan, who took the win at Daytona in GT3 AM. Didn't quite have that good an evening at the Hungaro Ring, unfortunately. But he's got the green number boards, the green mirrors, the green windshield banner, and the green end plates on the wing, and very big, very large GT3 AM field here tonight, Larry, and you'll see them on that timing tower with the green car numbers and green positioning as well.
Yeah, very big field tonight. I think this might be the biggest field we've ever seen in our days of announcing any of the Ricmotech series. I'm seeing about 37 cars registered for tonight's session. So that's between all of the 3 classes. Got about, I think it was 7 that we've got in the GTPs. Yep. Somewhere around, I think, 11 or 12 in the GT3 Pros, and the rest, that huge GT3 AM field. I think it's going to make it exciting tonight. This many cars building this place, going to have a lot of interaction between our multiple classes for sure.
Yeah, everybody, well, with the exception of maybe the GTP car is going to have to be checking their mirrors.
They'll have interaction, but yeah, it's going to be more out the windshield for them than looking behind them.
Exactly. All right, and we do still have a couple of drivers that have not taken to the track yet, like Brandon Guillot, Dean Dibdahl, the number 62 machine of Greg Brockway. Well, he took to the track and then took to the wall. And we'll probably see him go back out. He's got 2 laps complete right now here. So, Larry, let's do this quickly. Let's take a look back two weeks ago when our drivers were at the Hungaro Ring, and then we'll take a look at the championship standings as we're just about halfway through this 15-minute qualifying session. We'll start off with GT3 AM, where Baron Glover took his very first win in his very first outing with the World Challenge, and he is driving the Glass Pro Esport Ferrari. That's the number 13 machine. There's Baron right there. Congratulations to him. Dre Divock from The Wrong Stuff drove his number 12 Porsche 911 to second, and then we had Frieder Sport Racing's Edgar Sancinelli coming home in third with Jeff Jacobs and Ray Rue right off the podium, finishing fourth and fifth. And if we take a look at the point standings now, after 2 rounds, Dre Divock, who oddly enough does not have a win, did have pole position just a couple weeks ago, but he is currently your points leader, but not by much, only by 1 point over Jeff Jacobs in his SCCA Foundation Mercedes AMG GT3. Raymond Rue and his Corby Racing machine currently third, about what are we looking at, about 8 points, probably 6 points down. And then Russ Ruddick from Flying Tortoise Motorsports, Greg Brockway from Frieder Sport Racing, they are separated by only a single point, currently with 33 and 32 points. If we take a look at GT3 Pro, Mike Dam took his first win of the season. His teammate Travis Schwenke, who was our round 1 winner at Daytona, finished right behind him, only 1 second behind at the Hungaro Ring. So it's an Orion 1-2. Jennifer McDonald from BTL Motorsports, who was in the practice session. She has not yet turned a wheel here in qualifying yet, however, Larry. We'll see if she brings out the BTL Motorsports BMW and makes a run at the podium again. Dean Dibdahl, Lago Mores finished 4th and 5th at the Hungaro Ring. And if we take a look at the championship standings right now, and this all comes down to bonus points, which our drivers can earn by either staying clean, which certainly didn't happen at the Hungaro Ring, and not having incident points for running off track, or leading laps, or getting pole. Mike Dam currently leads with 73 points. Travis Schwenke 1 point behind, 72. Another 10 points back from there is Jennifer McDonald from BTL, then Lago Mores and Andrew Parente, your top 5. And pardon me, it's Andrew Parent, not Andrew Parente. I apologize, Andrew. And he's sitting in the green room, Larry, patiently waiting. We'll bring him in just a moment to talk to him. Now, in the GTP class, taking his second straight win, as I mentioned, was Paulo Cui Grant from Fur Affinity Racing. Shane Larson from The Wrong Stuff, our provisional pole sitter right now, was second, finished second in class, almost 13 seconds back from Grant. And then Tom Pichette from Purple Sector Motorsports came home in third, with Marlon Jones from Lead Paw and Austin Knight from MRP finishing 4th and 5th. And so the point standings now, after 2 rounds, it's Paulo Cui Grant with 77 points. Marlon Jones from Lead Paw Racing, who made the move over, had been racing in TCR for quite some time. He's currently second with 62 points. 2 points back from there is Tom Pichette, then Stephen May and Brandon Guillot, your top 5. So, Larry, we've got Andrew Parent, the driver of the number 15 Axiom Motorsports Lamborghini Huracan. He's currently sitting 5th in the championship after 2 rounds, so no doubt looking to move on up. Let's bring him on in and get his thoughts.
Hey, Andrew. Looks like you got your qualifying in tonight. How are things setting up for this evening's race?
So far, so good. Got a pretty good lap in. I think my 3rd lap was my quickest, so right now I'm sitting P4, so a top 5 start would be great, and kind of see how the race develops.
Have you done a lot of long runs here at the Glen and gotten mesmerized by the blue arm colors we were talking about?
Yeah, coming out of 11, it kind of draws you in a little bit if you're a little too happy on the throttle. So, yeah, there's some risk out here for sure, and this race is going to be interesting, being 90 minutes. Fuel strategy is going to definitely come into play. Who can save and keep it to a 1-stop versus if you can't and have to go for a splash at the end. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting 90 minutes.
Yeah, so far in the other rounds, we haven't gone this kind of distance. You've gotten off to a decent start here in the season. A couple of 6th places in each event got you, I think, 5th place in the standings. exceeding, not exceeding expectations, or what are you thinking might be for the rest of the season for you?
I think right on target. Coming in, it was my first season running here in this series, so I kind of looked at it and said, just get my bearings, and the top 5 would be great, and that's where I'm sitting right now. Daytona, I left some points on the table. I was running P4 until the last lap. I made a mistake that cost me a couple spots, so I kind of maximized my position in Hungaroring. That's not a strong track for me personally, so yeah, I'm happy with where I'm at, and I think I'm on target for a P5 for the season. It's going to be tough. There's a lot of fast people in this series, but that's the goal, and that's kind of what I'm still shooting for.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a very deep field here in this class. So it's sort of top 5 is a great goal, and it's kind of where you're sitting right now. Do you get a lot of help with car setups and practice? Your team helping you out or not, or what's generally your strategy for these kind of preparations?
Yeah, typically for these races, I'll start like a week prior, just getting up to speed on the track. If it's a track I'm unfamiliar with, the Glen I've done a bunch of races at, I know pretty well, so it was pretty easy to just get the car dialed in to get it comfortable, for a longer race pace. But yeah, typically it's like I start a week ahead of time, just get myself homed in on a setup, and then once I'm there, it's just getting laps till I'm comfortable and just finding a pace that I feel I can do consistently without taking too much risk.
Yeah. So you're from the New York area, I think. Is this track kind of, I guess, is this sort of a home track for you?
Yeah, I'm from New York. I'm down in southern part of the state, so this track's probably about a 5-hour drive from me. But as international motor tracks go, it is the closest, so it'd definitely be a home race for me. I would consider it my home race.
Well, good luck tonight, as being, I guess, a pseudo home at least. And maybe we can get you a little bit towards that 5th place finish for the season, and maybe keep that going here on this one tonight. And good luck. Maybe we'll talk to you again as a finisher here at the end of the race.
Sounds good. I appreciate you guys taking the time to speak with me, and have a good broadcast.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, there you go. Andrew Parente, I'm going to correct myself for the 3rd time tonight, driver of the number 15 Axiom Motorsports Lamborghini Huracan, and good luck to him tonight, Larry, as we now have only about 10 seconds remaining in qualifying. Let's take a look where we stand. Currently, Shane Larson has completed, almost all of our GTP drivers have completed their 4 flying laps. Shane Larson is on the pole, it appears, and well, actually, we're already going to be bringing up the starting grid. So, tell you what, we'll tell you how it's going to turn out here in just a second. Real quick, Larry, before we get to the grid, wanted to let everybody know. I think I mentioned in the open that we've brought Butt Kicker on board as a sponsor this season, and they're going to be giving away a Butt Kicker Gamer Plus package. That's a $279.95 value to one lucky driver here in the series. So again, want to thank Butt Kicker for coming on board for season number 6 of the Ricmotech World Challenge.
Awesome stuff. Great to have them on board, and I'm sure one of our lucky winners will be happy to win that prize come the end of the season. But we've got a grid to go through, so I'll get things started here. We've got the GTPs going to get going first. We've got 8 of them queued up tonight. Like I tell you what, this grid looks very, very tight. On the pole, in the wrong stuff, Shane Larson with a 27.3 just flying around there.
And that's almost a half a second faster than he ran in practice.
Yeah, shows that there's pace out there. This is pretty wild. On his left is going to be Palikui Grant from Fur Affinity Racing, just a 10th off the qualifying times. On the second row from Purple Sector Motorsport, on the inside, it's Tom Pichette. On the outside from Leclerc Motorsports, it's Marcel Leclerc. On the third row, on the inside, it's going to be Shane Larson, pole sitter's teammate from the wrong stuff, Brian Long. He'll be lined up on the inside alongside Leb Paw Racing's Marlon Jones on the outside of row 3. On row 4, on the inside, it's going to be Stephen May from May Force Racing, alongside, I believe that's Brandon Guillot in the Aztec Racing entry. I'll go ahead and do the pro ones, and then I'll hand you the GT3 AMs.
Sounds good.
All right, on the pole position tonight for the GT3 Pros from Orion Racing, it's Mike Dam, last round's winner, on the pole here tonight. Alongside him is going to be Yago Moraes from Yago Racing. On the next row, it's going to be Travis Schwenke, another Orion Racing entry, I believe a round 1 winner. He'll be lined up with Andrew Parente, just talked to him there from Axiom Motorsports. On the third row, it's going to be Dean Dibdall on the inside and Chris Thorman on the outside. ZP Motorsports for Dean, D2DE Racing for Chris. I'll go a couple of rows here, and then I'll hand it over to you, Greg. Nick Horvath, our highest qualifying AM driver from Lead Paw Racing. He'll be on that inside of, I believe, the 4th row of the GT3s, alongside another GTD driver, David Payton One more row here. Andrew Packer on the inside. Another one of our AM drivers lined up with Bobby Childs on the outside of that. Should be the 5th row of GT3s.
All right, so let's take a look at row number 6, where it's going to be Baron Glover from Glass Pro Esport, driving the number 13 machine. Kenny Duvall will start right next to him in the number 6. In the number 63 car. Then we've got Jeff Jacobs. He's going to be on the inside of row number 7 in the SCCA Foundation Mercedes with Ray Rue, who will be starting in the number 5 right next to him. Then we've got Steve Daniel from SKKJ and Dre Divock driving the number 12 machine. Then we've got Dominic Angelicio driving the number 48 machine, also from the Wrong Stuff Racing. Elias Halabi will start right next to him in the Lay Pro Racing number 7 machine. Then we've got Edgar Sancinelli, and here's one, Larry, that I did not expect to see. Robert Hartley, driver of the number 3 Orion Racing BMW, is going to be starting all the way back. Looks like 28th position on the grid here. Then we've got Bruno Bellany and Brennan Horan. Horan was our round 1 winner. I think he's probably in GT3 AM. I think he's probably a little bit further back than he expected. We've got Jose Cabrera from Ricmotech Motorsports with John Casey. One of the Dragatas, let's see which one it is. I believe it's a Leonardo Dragata in the 118 machine. He will be starting right next to Russ Ruddick, and then we've got Lucas Dragata directly behind in the 119 car. Then we've got Greg Brockway. Then we've got Patrick Brevenis and Robert Brist, and Jennifer McDonald never put in a time in qualifying. I'm still not showing her in the session either, Larry, so a little late probably for her to even start from the pit lane.
Yeah, unfortunately, that would be a tough one. So we'll see if she's able to. Otherwise, we're going to have some pretty intense battles. Still have, I think it's 37 cars or 38 cars in the session. And we've got a bit of a bottleneck going on here.
Maybe 34. Yeah, and I'm listening to race control right now as they're trying to get the GT3 drivers slowed down. So they were trying to start up about a 13-second gap between the GTP cars and the GT3s, and of course we saw there coming out of the heel of the boot. Looks like a good portion of our GTP field already may have already taken on some damage.
Yeah, we'll have to see if they do anything about that. Obviously, the little bit of repair damage in the settings they've got would be to bring them in for an urgent pit stop. I don't know what's going to go on here. We'll let the stewards make that call. They might just line this up and let it rip.
And that's what it sounds like, Larry. The calls come in to have them line up, and they are going to come through the final corner, through turn 11, onto the front straight. The start zone is right there underneath the Go Bowling sign, and the stewards give the green flag signal, and we are racing here at Watkins Glen here with GTP. We'll have our GT3 start in just a moment. Looks like one of our cars is already pulled off to the side. I think that's Tom Pichette, and he has parked the car in the grass, and it looks like his race may have ended before it even started. As we've got Brian Marcel Leclerc and Paul Grant heading up into the bus stop now.
I believe that car that slid wide might have been our pole sitter, Shane Larson. So I think right now leading the field is Brian Law.
That's right.
So already we've got a mix-up there happening. The GTPs, this is going to be a bit crazy while our GT3s are now on their way.
Indeed, and our GT3 cars have now gotten a green flag, and it is Mike Dam. He's got Iago Mores directly beside him in that red, white, and blue Lamborghini. Then it is Travis Schwenke with Andrew Parente sitting in fourth, Dean Dibdahl, Chris Thorman, and Nick Horvath in his Lamborghini, the number 82 machine, slotting in behind as well. But most of the GT3 cars, well, I was going to say most of them all nose to stern. We've got a few drivers about 10 car length or 10 rows back, still side by side as they went into the bus stop. But as they come out, Mike Dam, our early leader in GT3, as we take a look at
caution.
Oh, indeed.
Yes, it looks like we are. They throw a manual full course caution in this series. They don't use the iRacing built in, so you're not going to see it flashing on the screen unless our guys throw the graphic up. But what's going on here is they're going to bring the packs up. Lots of little wrecks that are going on around the track. They want to get things under control before they re-release. It looks like a couple of drivers are going to come in for some repairs. I see Marcel Leclerc already on his way in. You can see him there.
Yeah, and we've got, as we mentioned, we got Tom Pichette in the pits. Russ Ruddick, driver of the number 95 BMW. He comes down the pit lane as well.
Yeah, bit of a crazy start in both classes, in all three classes, I should say.
All right, and Larry, I'm seeing now, it looks like Jennifer McDonald is back in the session. It looks like she's in the car, but it's on the pit lane. I don't know if she's going to actually be able to join.
She should be allowed to, based on the sim, if she can, but I'm not seeing the same per my sim. It's still looking like she didn't connect.
All right, so what's going to happen now is, Larry, as it is a full course caution, the GT3 drivers, they are now going to try to catch the back of the GTP field, as I guess our race control wanted to get things back under control here, and I think they might have been worried that some of those GTP cars might have taken on a little bit too much damage from the start. We have a few other drivers that have come into the pits besides Russ Ruddick. Looks like John Casey is in now as well in the number 78 Porsche.
Yep, quite a few there. I also do see Jennifer McDonald has joined the session. We'll see if she's able to get out on track at all with this mix-up. This might be the best thing for her. My guess is would be a lap down at best, but let's see if she can get into the field. But a little bit crazy. I also see race control called for a close of the pit lane entrance, but we know we saw these cars we just talked about already in. We'll see what the stewards decide to do about that.
All right, so it is Brian Long, your leader, Paulo Cui, Grant, Stephen May, Brandon Guillot, and probably the big surprise here, Shane Larson, your pole sitter. As you mentioned, Larry, Shane Larson going off on the start, finds himself now back in 6th position, that last prototype car prior to the GT3 field coming up behind.
Yeah, I think we've got a replay queued up there, so we can kind of take a look at how this got started. And here's the original pace lap. So that should be Shane there behind the pace car. At this point, I think the stewards are starting to call for maybe a bit of a bunching up. And that started to happen. And you can see the lockup there.
Yeah, Larson just came to a standstill.
Yeah. It's a very unusual situation there with Shane. He did get going again, but then spun in turn 1 once we went green, putting him back in the field. This yellow may have helped him a bit. Now he's at least at the back of the train of GTP cars, so he doesn't have that 6-second gap down that he was before. So if his car's not damaged, this could be a good situation for him.
And again, we are under full course caution here, with just a little under 5 minutes elapsed in this 90-minute race to the checkered flag, and the pit lane, Larry, is now open. And so we'll see if we have drivers pit in now. Now, one of the issues, Larry, and as we were talking about pit strategies, we knew that the GTP cars were likely going to have to take 2 stops. I believe they can go. Let's see. I've got my notes here. They could do somewhere around 38 to 40 minutes on a tank of gas. So, I mean, at best, we're talking maybe 80, 81. This extended caution period
this could help.
It could help considerably. And for the GT3 cars, we anticipated that they could do probably, and Andrew Parente, I think he spelled it out there, you know, we anticipated that they could do probably about 44 minutes on one tank of fuel.
So, yeah, it might be an advantage to just come in for the splash now to make sure you don't need the splash later. Then you could drive hard and not need fuel saving strategies, or you gamble and say that this current, let's say 5 minutes of time under safety is enough to stretch that fuel. That's, if you're a GTP, knowing those numbers, that's a pretty tough gamble. If you're a GT3, that might be a very well calculated, but that pit lane at that 48-minute mark or so is going to be insane.
Yes, it is. It's pretty much a good portion of the field.
So we're watching a replay now, real quick, of the start to the GTPs, and you can see Larson, as soon as he touched the brakes, the car just snapped and swapped ends. He went to the open side, the far side of turn 1, was able to rejoin. I do wonder if maybe he had a brake bias issue.
I was just gonna say, Larry, especially the way that car just came to a complete stop as they were coming out of the boot, that maybe either he had either a brake bias issue or a physical brake pedal issue.
It could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, the brake pedal on his sim, you never know. Sometimes you lose calibration. It does some weird things. Yeah. Hopefully, in this period here, he's been able to resolve that.
All right, and race control is still trying to get the field under control. There were a couple of passes after the full course caution was called, and so race control is trying to get everybody back in the correct order. We've had a few more drivers drop into the pits. Bobby Childs, Lucas Dragata, Marcel Leclerc, Edgar Sancinelli as well, and I think, Larry, that those drivers are going the route exactly what we said, is trying to get their fills of fuel so that perhaps they take their one stop and can hopefully make it to the end without needing that splash at the end.
So a couple of things I'm seeing is that a couple of drivers, like the couple of GTP drivers, Tom Pichette and Marcel Leclerc, are still in from their initial pull into the pit, so they appear to be taking repairs for their damage.
Looks like Dragata is as well.
Dragata,
Dragata's missing the nose on the car.
Whereas
Kenny Duval looks like he's missing more than the nose on the car.
Yeah, Sancinelli, Childs, and Duval are in right now. We'll see if they come back out before the safety comes back around. Okay, so here's the replay of what was happening at the caution period as well. I think the GT3 is on top. Again, a bit of an accordion, and there it is.
Oof.
Ooh, some big ones. Always good to pay attention to that card. It's two ahead of you, just in case.
All right, and the GT3 cars that are in the pits, they've been told that that they will be starting when they finish up. They need to go to the rear of the field. They're not going to be able to, depending on where they exit, they're not going to be able to just kind of blend in. They do need to wait until the very end of the train goes by the pit out.
Let's see how that goes, because there are quite a few of them. Now, it does look like Childs, Duval, Sancinelli were only 1.5 minute stops. They've all returned to the track. Leclerc is now back out after missing 6 minutes. I suspect that's going to be a lap or so down.
Yeah.
We'll get that all sorted out once we see the race standings. What we do know is we've got 6 GTPs at the front of the field ready to do their thing, and then a whole bunch of GT3s ready to do theirs.
All right, Dominic Angelicchio took to the pits in his GT3 BMW. He just did that just a few moments ago. And you can see here is Marcel Leclerc, who pitted in early with that damage, likely from the pileup before the green flag ever came out. He's trying to catch up to the back of the field right now. And maybe he has a bit of an advantage, depending on when we go back green, Larry. He might have an advantage. Yeah, get a little more heat in the tires than some of the other drivers. Although you see here as our leaders are just now coming into the chute, going in towards turn number 6 and into the boot. Still, about a half a lap to go before they get back up to the green flag.
Yeah, they're going to probably want to start thinking about putting some heat in those tires. If I were in a GT3, I probably would. I'm not familiar yet with the GTPs, how much they need. Seeing how there's 6 of them in a row, not really making an effort. Perhaps they're feeling comfortable with their tire heat. It's going to be an interesting race now, because what we originally had was a full-on split start where the GTPs were probably going to go a couple laps before they caught the back of the GT3 field. Now they actually might get more time before they catch the back of the field, because that gap from the front of the GTPs to the back of the GT3s now is pretty well extended.
Yeah, the original gap, again, that they were trying to set was somewhere along 13 seconds, which is a huge amount. And we might have seen the GTP cars on the back of the GT3s probably within 3 laps. And it's going to take a little bit longer this time. All right, quickly, we've got one more replay, Larry, and this is of the GT3 start as they're coming up the hill.
There's some big slides. Yep, I have the sound of Blue Danube waltz in my head as I see those cars going, but I believe are about to go green here.
And we are, Larry, as they come around out of the final corner, out of turn 11, and green flag is back in the air, and we are back to racing here at Watkins Glen International. Brian Long is your leader in the number 76 machine. He's got Palakui, Grant, Stephen May directly behind. Shane Larson has already gotten around Brandon Guillot and Marlon Jones, so move him now up into 4th place.
That was a quick jump for Larson right there already, so getting back on form. Perhaps any issues he had with his brakes pre-green flag the first time have been resolved, and he's going to try and stick with this.
You know, we just saw him make a move all the way down to the inside. He may have been testing those brakes out, Larry, before he got down into the inner loop, into the bus stop, to make sure that he didn't lock him up with 3 cars directly behind him. But Palakui Grant already challenging for the lead and jumps ahead of Brian Long. Move our 2-time winner now up into the lead with Long second, Stephen May, Shane Larson, as we jump back now to the GT3 fight. And once again, for the 2nd time in a row, the 2nd start tonight, Mike Dam now jumping out to an early lead over Iago Mores. Mores in that number 9 Lamborghini, falling about 4 car lengths back, with Travis Schwenke, our round 1 winner, sitting in 3rd. Andrew Parente getting a little aggressive here early on as well. But talk about aggressive, coming down the inside, taking a look at turn 10 is Shane Larson, and realized he was maybe a little bit too far back from Brian Long, but Larson now up into 3rd position. He's looking to get back into the lead and get there quickly. He leaped, you can see there as he leapfrogs cars.
Well, remember there for Larson, now up to 2nd, that's his teammate Long. So that looked like a coordinated swap there on the front straight, allowing Larson to go. I think their strategy here is to not let Palakui Grant, who's won the first 2 rounds, escape in this. So they're going to work really hard together, perhaps drafting a little bit of teamwork to make sure that Grant doesn't get away.
Oof.
It's a tall order. Grant is flying here on this first couple of laps.
He is. All right, as we jump back over to our GT3 action, as we take a look at Jeff Jacobs there with Steve Daniel. And Larry, it's almost as if we're back at the Hungaroring. This is exactly what we saw just 2 weeks ago. But the Mercedes-AMG GT3 of Jeff Jacobs, we've got Steve Daniel in that number 96 BMW. A little odd to see him in a BMW versus the Ferrari, but it is what it is here. And a little bit further back, we've got Jose Cabrera as well in his Ferrari, Dre Divock, Brennan Horan, and Leonardo Dragata as well in that pack.
Yeah, good train going on here, and this is one of those areas of the race where somebody's going to be aggressive and it's going to hurt everyone behind them. This is working through the field. I think that's Hartley. Yeah, we're on board with Hartley trying to get through this field. We talked about him earlier. He started this field way down the order. 27th. He's already made up 5 or 6 spots. Yeah,
he started 27th. He is now up to 18th overall, making up 10 spots early on. That puts him still only in 9th position in GT3 Pro, but he's got Steve Daniel, who's the next pro driver, just 2 cars ahead of that Mercedes.
He's got a couple of wide cars there in front of him between both Jeff Jacobs and Steve Daniels, a couple of known wide cars to try and get around. So that's going to be a tough order, but he'll give it a shot here coming through the field for Hartley.
All right, let's take a look, Larry. It looks like Stephen May. We're finding him now in the pit lane in his GTP car. And it looks like he went around. Let's take a look. There it is. It doesn't matter if you've got tons of downforce in the car, Larry, or if you don't. Turn 9.
It's the slowest corner in the track and not a lot of aerodynamic aid for you for downforce. You got to do it all in mechanical. So if your car is loose, it's going to be extra loose there. And I'm sure you're familiar in real world.
I am.
Loose that corner is.
Yeah, you just have to sit on it and wait on it. It's off. It's really the only off-camera corner I think that you have got in the entire track here. And you just have to respect the Armco that's right there. Now that at least they've got some safer barrier right there, and you saw that as he may miss the safer barrier, but it used to be a very hard hit in that Armco right there.
All right, watching for Brennan Horn. You saw him taking the inside line around that carousel, stayed on the outside around 6, and then was able to hold the inside as they started heading through the toe and out of the heel of the boot. So great move, great work there to hold those lines and get himself in a good position to loop a couple of spots.
And he almost brought Dragata along with him, but Dragata now side by side with Cabrera as they came through the toe and then through the heel. And now one of the two Dragatas, this is Leonardo Dragata, he now moves up to 8th position in AM. He started 10, probably 12 positions back from here. So he's made up a number of positions already, Larry.
Yeah, so right now Brennan Horn really working well through the field. Hartley we talked about going through the field. Cabrera, he's having some struggles. He's got to get into his groove after just watching Leonardo Dragata go on by. So a lot of shuffling going on. Everyone in that class still chasing Mr. Horvath, who seems to be off to a pretty good start.
Yeah, and so, Jeff Jacobs not making a huge advancement. Of course, he had a number of drivers ahead pull into the pits or pull off track, but Elias Habibi here, who Jacobs just now gets around, going into the Elias Halabi, not Habibi, I'm sorry, coming through the outer loop there in that bright blue Porsche 924. Halabi made up 10 positions, started 26th overall in the field, now finds himself 16th, but all the way up to 4th in GT3 AM. And you can see there is Robert Hartley, driver of the number 3 Orion Racing Machine. He's dispatched with Steve Daniel. He's now trying to look for a way around that very wide Mercedes. Yeah,
well, Jeff Jacobs had trouble coming out of the bus stop there, got real wobbly, and that allowed Halabi to get on by where it didn't look like maybe he was going to get a bit of a run. So now we'll see if Jacobs can hold off Hartley. Not sure for how long. Hartley looks like he's on a mission to pick these guys apart 1 or 2 per lap and try and stay in the field here for this GT3 perhaps. But he's in GT3 Pro. He's down not just positions. He's down some pretty good time. He's probably around 8 seconds or so, I think, behind the leaders in GT3 Pro. Oh, we've got a pile up. That's a lobby.
That's a lobby going around, coming out of turn 11. Hartley had to go to try and avoid. We saw that Jeff Jacobs got caught up in it as well. Jacobs has managed to continue. Don't know how much damage was made to that car. Couldn't really tell from the angle whether or not Hartley had a little bit of a love tap there in the left front corner as they were coming through, Larry.
Absolutely crazy in that little moment there, and allowed folks like Steve Daniel to get back on by all of this. But certainly for Hartley, kind of took away some of the work that he had just done. He's trying to get a good run to the bus stop now and dispatch some of the folks behind him. Like you can see, Divock now, I think, is just behind him in that other Porsche.
Indeed, yeah, Dre Divock right behind. Then we've got one of the Dragatas, that's Leonardo Dragata, running. And this is a battle for position right now, Larry, in AM. Divock currently running 4th. Well, Leonardo Dragata, who just gets by him, although they're going to try the over-under. Dragata, Divock, and Horan all in a fight for 4th position in AM. And actually, I don't want to forget one other person, Jose Cabrera. It looks like he's starting to come down the inside of Brennan Horn, going into the toe of the boot. He's in that fight as well.
Yeah, I know we've had a lot of drivers falling out of the field, so the numbers of spots that you move up are a little bit amplified. But I can tell you the biggest mover right now, Leonardo Dragata. He has picked up 4 more places than the guy right in front of him, Robert Hartley. So while we're talking about Hartley and his movement through the field here, Leonardo Dragata is actually outpacing him as now the GTPs come roaring through. There he is, Holly Grant, your leader, going around about 4 cars in the slowest corner of the track. What? It's not the hardest corner of the track. He just made it look pretty easy.
He made it look pretty easy. And he's got a tremendous advantage right now over Shane Larson. Larson, I believe, just now coming through the final corner. And you see Larson coming down the inside of the front straight. They're almost 5 seconds separating our leaders. And as Holly Grant has this seemingly never-ending line of GT3 cars, he's now got to pick and choose his way through. Larson's going to have that exact same challenge as well. And, you know, as we see Grant coming around the outside, drivers left, he may have and got a clear piece of track probably right at the best time, Larry, just as he was getting to the inner loop, and Larson not going to be so lucky.
No, honestly, watching Billy Grant just going through that whole field there was pretty amazing. Just like some of them are standing still. He was going left, he's going right, he was picking them off all over the place. Amazing work. But I'm watching Larson's delta, and it hasn't really changed through this last lap or so. So Larson's kind of doing the same thing, just a couple seconds back, corner by corner. Look at him on the outside here through 7, just right around him, like to Steve Daniel, like he's standing still. And now he's going to do the same thing here to Hartley. Next one on by. And yeah, just these guys are just flying through this field. The delta on time, lap times, is around 14, 15 seconds between the GTPs and the GT3s. That translates on straightaways to probably about 40 miles an hour in some spots. In the corners, it's probably 15 to 20 with the extra downforce. Amazing stuff watching these cars go roaring by these GT3s.
And just ahead of that, those prototype cars that we were just watching, back to this battle for, right now it's the battle for, if we take a look, I guess Horn is in that line, battle for 6th in AM, but we're watching Jeff Jacobs. He's currently 9th with Andrew Packer challenging. Packer coming down the inside in the number 67 machine, going to try and outbreak him. Going into the 90, takes that very tight line. Now got that nice little dip right at the apex. If you hit it just right, you can carry a ton of speed down the hill and then up into the S's.
1 inch further inside or out, and you hit the bump just wrong, and the car completely reduces it, pushes into the outside of the corner, and all your momentum's gone for the next straightaway. But Jeff seems to have done a great job here. He's got an opportunity at the bus stop as we flash forward. Take a look at our leader in GT3 Pro. That's Mike Dam, now with a gap of over 2 seconds over Yago Moraes. So he's really working it. Now he's got freedom to go ahead and let Ollie Grant go on by at his own leisure. And now Grant can breathe a bit of a sigh of relief that maybe he'll get a half a lap before he goes and picks on anybody else in a GT3.
Yeah, and so, of course, Dam stayed out. You know, Dam obviously not going to have a great opportunity to do some fuel saving. He's got a little bit of a margin there if he wants to lift and coast into some of the corners, but he doesn't, you know, he normally has one of his Orion teammates to help him along the way, sometimes 2, sometimes 3, all working together. But at this point now, he's opened up he's opened up about a 2.5 second advantage over Moraes, and his teammate Schwenke is almost 5 seconds back from Dam. So he's gonna have to run this on his own.
Yeah, so while they wage that battle, but over in GT3M, it's Nick Horvath just kind of running away. Got a great start after that restart, and it's been able to build pretty big lead now on Glover, Rue, and Dragota, who's obviously been moving through the field. But for Horvath now really doing a great job. He's actually only about a second or so behind Chris Thorman, who's currently running, I want to say, about 6th in GT3 Pro. So Horvath on a pretty good start to this race.
All right, Larry, just got word from race control. Bruno Belny, driver of the number 77 Ferrari, he's going to have to serve a drive-through penalty assigned to accident responsibility for, I think that may actually have gone all the way back up to that initial run up through the S's, Larry, at the very beginning. We saw the replay on early on.
Yeah, the bit of the ice dance waltz going up there. His car is just spinning left and right, unfortunately. If you're responsible, there's a penalty to be paid. Busy night for the stewards here in the Ricmotech series. Earning their keep.
Yes, certainly earning their keep, as we're only 25 minutes in, not even, Larry, a third of the way through this 90-minute race.
Well, we managed to take our running field from what was going to be about 39 cars when the green flag dropped. We're now down to about 27 there's a few of them that are still out there.
Only the strong survive, Larry. Only the strong.
28. I think I see John Casey running. He's several laps down, but he is still in the field. So yeah, I think we've got 28 cars on the track.
All right, coming into the pit lane right now, Brian Long, who had jumped out to that early lead tonight in GTP, and he pits in from 3rd for his first pit stop this evening. Again, we thought that the GTP cars were likely going to have to take 2 stops.
Yeah, interesting for him is he is the teammate of Shane Larson, so those guys taking different times for their stops. Kind of would have figured maybe they do the coordination, but maybe they're on their own for fuel intake.
Yeah, they may be on their own strategies. As we saw him also go up on the jack stands, and Neat little thing there, Larry. When the car goes up on the jack stands, apparently the rear wheels, they're already spinning.
Yeah. So I don't know if that means, because every car is a little bit different, if they're actually changing tires or if all cars go up of these new GTP BMWs, if they go up in the air for fueling as well. But he's still in the pits.
Yeah.
Makes me wonder if he did take tires. Very lengthy pit stop.
Yeah.
I wonder if he may have also had some minor repairs from that initial green contact, and he might be taking those repairs now.
All right, let's take a look here. Brian, oh my gosh, Larry. At least I'm not calling you. At least I'm not calling you Mike tonight.
This would explain why he needs some repairs, as we just saw in the replay there of Brian Long rubbing the wall there. I believe that is between turns 8 and 9.
And 9, yeah.
So unfortunately, a little bit slippery and taking some repairs. He's a minute and a half into them, but good to take them now, assuming the car is able to continue. At the rate the race is going, you might still be in it, even if you've got to take some lengthy repairs.
We're on board right now with Andrew Packer, currently running 7th. Well, we were on board with him, running 7th, but now up to Andrew Parente, driving the number 15 machine. And look at this, right on the back of Parente's Lamborghini, Dean Dibdahl in the BMW. And this is a fight for 5th right now, and they're not that far back, Larry, out of 3rd place at the moment here.
Yeah, and if I got this right, it looks like our GT3 field, Mike Dan, Yago Moraes, Travis Schwanke, Andrew Parente, Dean Dibdahl, Chris Thorman, Nick Horvath, and David Payton might be in the same order they qualified in. Just continuing to crank out gaps between them at this point. But that group, I don't think has actually moved up within.
No, not at all. I think the only mover at this point that we can point to in pro is Robert Hartley, who is now sitting. He's sitting back in 8th in class, sitting 13th overall, about 5 cars back from the battle that we've been watching.
Yep, and as you can see here, he's right on the tail of Baron Glover. Glover, of course, running 2nd at GT3 AM, so he has no dog in this fight. That's the 82 sitting there cross track. That's Nick Horvath. That was the leader at GT3 AM. And
not any longer is Baron Glover is your new leader. And Glover, who's being hounded by that Orion Racing BMW, now finds himself escalated to the front of his class, and he's got a good advantage over Raymond Rue.
He might just say, go ahead.
Please,
Hartley,
tow me along.
So this is the replay here of Horvath coming off of turn 8, looking a little bit like what we had seen earlier.
And gets the wall to boot.
Yeah, Brian Long had in the GTP car had a similar slide, ended up track right and rubbing into that wall. In this case for Horvath, that's a pretty good contact there on track left. He's able to rejoin as safely as he could possibly do. We'll see if he's taken any damage. He had built a lead of about 7 seconds or so over Glover. So right now, he's 8 seconds down. 8 seconds,
yeah.
Not insurmountable. We're only a third of the way through this 90 minutes.
All right, Brennan Horan has pitted in AM from, I think, 4th position in class. You see him on the pit lane there in the D2D E-Racing Lamborghini, the second car in the row there.
I can tell you, this is some of the craziest action we've seen at the start of a race.
Oh gosh, yes.
Typically the 90 minutes, everyone's a little bit tentative, a little bit, soft-footed, a little. Hey, it's a long race, got to survive. This has been just nuts. Cars sliding off. We've had a lot of contact. We've had leads, ups and downs, and we're only a third of the way.
Great. Now, you said, of course, with those cars going off, that looks like the majority of the field, other than the GTP cars, have moved up 5 spots, assuming they haven't picked off anybody, if they haven't made a pass. But watch this, as we're watching Leonardo Dragata. He has made up, in total, 19 positions. So, it's I guess in total really 14. But he is fighting right now with Raymond Rue. This is for 2nd in GT3 AM currently. Yeah. And it looks like Dragata just had an issue there, and well, maybe not an issue, but he's coming into the pits.
Yeah. Interesting time to pit, but he has come in. I was just gonna say he was only about 5 seconds to like about the next 4 spots that he still could probably climb up, but maybe he's feeling this is a good time to come in. You know, a good budget time to be able to come in. The track conditions would have been tough to get more passes in space mode, so here's on board now.
But yeah, I mean, he was so close to jumping up in the second, but he's you know, still what about he would have been about 4 seconds or so back from Glover in the lead, but yeah.
All right, so this is getting interesting. You just saw right there, we've got Engine Packer, you've got Halabi, and then you got a couple of GTP cars trying to snake their way between them as they had come through the inner and then outer loops. So it's getting a little bit crazy now between track actual class positions and then these GTPs mixing it up at the same time. Occasionally you're going to see some 3 wides here.
Yeah, I believe that's I think that's is that Guillaume just in the pink car. Pardon me, that's yeah, I think it's Guillaume in the 66 machine up there with Halabi.
And that's a lobby who had issues earlier, but seems to have straightened those things out. He's got himself right now settled into 6th place. And with the way things are going in GT3 AM, you're never really out of it.
No. I mean, that's what we're seeing right now is we're seeing enough drivers have some issues on track. Whoa.
Yeah.
Ray Rue there in the Porsche just almost had his nose taken off.
Yeah, 3 wide GT3s down the front straight with Steve Daniel on the outside. We'll see how this plays as they come through and now enter up into the S's at the same time as a GTP comes in and he touches to Steve Daniel. He goes around.
Oh, and he gets Ray Rue. And they're both off as the prototype car is off. So we've got Ray Rue, we've got Steve Daniel. Steve Daniel's already headed into the pits there. Ray Rue had already been up in the 2nd position, and another car, and is that Halabi that got into Rue as he's trying to get
damage
up?
There to a lobby, and that was Brandon Guillaume, I think, was that pink GTP car that started this whole interaction.
Yeah, and you can see all the damage there now to Halabi's car. He's about to lose the nose.
Oh, don't go there.
Well, much better.
Don't worry about that front fascia anymore.
He's got the splitter. He'll be fine. Oh, my gosh. So, Larry, and there's a lot of damage there. Let's see if we can pull up some replays of what happened, and then maybe we'll take a break. Or we can always take. I'm looking for a little direction from our directors if we'd like us to take a break, and then we can come back and take a look at some of this. All right, tell you what, let's take a look, Larry, at exactly what happened as we had our GT3 drivers and Brandon Guillaume. I guess maybe it wasn't Guillaume.
It was, yeah.
Oh yeah, it was. As they came up through the S's that last time by. Let's see what happened.
So we're on board here with Guillaume as we go down into 1.
And oh my.
And that was Ray Rue and Steve Daniel that he made the contact with initially. And then Rue was slow going, and then a few others came along and unfortunately got tangled into him as well.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look quickly. We've got another one, Larry, queued up here, and we'll take a look. All right, now this is Halabi as he's coming up on that incident. Oh, and just the closing speed as Raymond Rue was trying to get that car back underway and maybe limp back to the pits. Larry, it looked like there probably was a good 50-mile-per-hour differential there between them. And so Halabi now, believe, yeah, indeed, he's just managed to bring his car into the pits in the last half minute. All right, let's do this. Larry, right now, we've got Palakui Grant, your leader, Shane Larson running in 2nd in GTP. In GT3 Pro, Mike Dams, your leader, with Iago Mores about 4.5 seconds in arrears, and the gap about the same in GT3 AM is Baron Glover. Hey, surprise, surprise, Baron Glover is once again your leader here in GT3 AM with Dre Divock running in second. Let's take a quick break. Let's thank some of our partners, and when we come back, we'll bring you action all the way to the checkered flag here from Watkins Glen International in the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge, presented by Performa Texas Elite Graphics and Butt Kicker.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name-brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com. Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
The search is over. The most comprehensive league scoring solution is here, with the ability for multi-level championships, custom incident tracking, post-race time penalties, support for heats, drop weeks display, multi-car team scoring, advanced web widgets, rookie championships, a custom paint system, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
All right, and we are back here at Watkins Glen International for the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge, presented by Performa Texas Elite Graphics, and new this season, Butt Kicker. I'm Greg Ginsburg, along with Larry Lefty McLeod, and Larry, we're watching now our new GT3 leader, and that's Iago Moraes with Mike Dam in second. And
the one time we thought was consistent and wasn't going to be an issue was Mike Dam was going to be clean and he had a lead and it was no big deal. Suddenly, he's in the middle of this train with his teammate behind him, and Iago Moraes leading the GT3s. I think we've got a replay.
Oh, and here you go, coming through the inner loop. Does he impact the wall?
Did not pay his fare at the bus stop, and he was slow to get on, and everyone caught him up.
There he goes. He's around the outside there. Moraes is going to slide right underneath him as they head down into the chute and into the boot. And Travis Schwenke, who had been closing things down on Moraes just before that happened, he now sits right back with his teammate.
Yeah, Schwenke, look at this. He's the aggressor. He's using the draft of that GTP car, and he's also got a bit of the tail of Moraes. I think Mike Dam's going to come out of this in third right now, and there it is. Just insane. And
and getting very loose is Travis Schwenke coming through the bus stop. That curbing their driver's left, Larry, and how many times am I going to call you Brian tonight? That is really upsetting those Orion machines.
It really is. We saw a little bit out of Jeff Jacobs earlier in his Mercedes. Now we're seeing the BMWs from these Orion guys. That curb that just upsets the car, and if you can't get the car rotated from a bit of a right kink to entry to making the left at that first inner apex, the car just sends to the right, and you're off. And then it happened to Dam, and it almost happened to Schwenke there. Right now, Iago Moraes, in what's typically the difficult to drive Lamborghini, kind of making it look easy. One of these three is probably going to be pitting soon, but we talked in the beginning about fuel strategies. I don't know how many of these GT3s can go more than 44 minutes. They might need to wait about 6 more minutes before they make their stop.
Yeah, well, you know, and again, we had that extended caution period at the front of the race, Larry, that may extend that out just a little bit, as we've got one of our Mercedes, that's Robert Brist, moving offline to let our leaders through. But you know, that full course caution to start things out could really shake things up. I'm not going to say that they can make now 46 or 47 laps, but I mean, it's possible.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting how they decide. I suspect these guys are gonna want to go as long as they can just to ensure they can make it to the finish. We've seen a handful of our GTPs stop, but not all of them yet. So they might also be playing a bit of this fuel saving game. For probably Corby Grant, your overall leader in GTP, he has that flexibility to take as long as he needs with a nearly 30-second lead for the rest of the field that they're chasing him. But you can see right there, the intermixing is we've got a shot there. It should be Larson, if I got that right. Currently about that 28 seconds back, trying to do all he can.
You know, and Larry, that's a story that we haven't really talked too much about. Of course, we saw where Larson had his brush with the wall that certainly dropped him back. But you know, early on, he was running only about 5 seconds or so back from Grant. That incident really hurt him, as he's now almost a half minute back. Neither driver having taken their pit stop yet.
These guys are starting to take risks, whereas probably Corby Grant, your leader, doesn't have to take those risks. He can really take his time through some of this when he's picking his way through traffic. But you just saw there Larson coming through that bus stop, a little bit more aggressive. But Grant here just out for a nice casual day at this stage of this race. But as he picks the traffic, he does still have to be cautious. He's got fewer cars on track to contend with, but still.
Yeah, I was going to say the traffic has been getting to be less and less of an issue as this race has gone on. As I think we've now dropped about 10 cars from
half the field.
Yeah,
but that was Robert Hartley that he just went by. You can see in the background there in his Orion BMW. Hartley has moved himself up to, if I have this right,
he's up to 7th in class right now, 10th overall. And now coming down the pit lane, that's Dre Divock, who was pitting in from, I believe he was running 4th at the time in GT3 AM. And so as he is, you know, we're right at about it's the 44-minute mark, Larry. It's the witching hour. Let's take a look, Larry. I'm getting word now that Andrew Packer has had another issue here out on track. As we take a look and see what happened, and it's the heel of the boot, Larry, and it's getting everybody. Oh, and that's a horrible hit.
It really is. I know it's not the easiest corner, and I think the way these tires are modeled now in these GT3 cars, it's a little bit more dynamic. It's a little bit less predictable than it used to be, but it really seems to be catching a lot of drivers off, particularly in that stretch as they get back on the gas on the corner exit. We've seen a number of them doing it, and Andrew Packer is now part of that group, as Yagama Reyes, we got our shot on him, is continuing to lead.
And looks like Mike Dam now, Larry, coming down the pit lane, as he is going to be the first of the Orion drivers to take a pit stop. Travis Schwenke is going to stay out on track and continue to take the fight to Yago Mores.
Exactly at the halfway mark when he pulled in. I wonder if he has any damage to that car from making his contact with the wall there coming out of the bus stop. So we'll see how long his stop ends up being. And clearly we'll then keep our eyes on Yago Mores and Travis Schwenke, the other two that were part of that battle. But Andrew Parente not too far behind them either, as well as Dean Dibdahl. So that really has bunched up that front 7 or so in GT3 Pro, and we are far from over this race.
Yeah, I mean, there's you can see it there on our ticker. We're only halfway through this race.
My ticker can
only
take
45 minutes in.
Excitement, the way things are going. The ticker on the screen is nothing compared to the one that keeps in my chest pounding out of it every time I see a car go spinning away.
Oh my! You're so invested, Larry.
I am.
All right, taking a poke down to the inside right now of Mores is our leader, Paulo Kui Grant, as he's working through the GT3 leaders. Giving an extra wide berth to Iago Mores there, just to make sure, in case Mores did get a little loose coming out of turn 9.
Very wise move there, and what's deemed to be a difficult part of the track tonight. So, although he has given up a couple seconds now to Shane Larson, who's at one point we had said he was 28 and a half or so seconds, now down to 24 point something. So, yeah, not over yet for Larson to try and catch Grant, and they each have a pit stop remaining. So, we'll see how that plays out. I suspect we'll see one of them, if not both, in the next 5 minutes or so.
Russ Ruddick in the pits. Steve Daniels still trying to get repairs done to his BMW after the incident up in the S's.
So Mike Dam's pit stop, just to go back to that for a minute, was very quick. One of the quickest ones we've seen. It was just a 13-second stop. So see if that's enough fuel to continue. But he is back underway. Running somewhere around 11th or 12th overall in the GT3s.
All right, Jose Cabrera now making his way into the pits from third place in AM. Ricmotech car.
And I'll tell you, I'm not counting out Rob Hartley in any of this. You can see him there finally showing up at the GT3 Pro leader ticker in 6th place, 21 seconds behind Iago Mores and Travis Schwenke. We've seen crazier things in a 45 minutes, 43 minutes remaining in this race. So I'm not counting out Mr. Hartley for him to be able to creep up to potentially a podium spot before this is said and done. Well, as it looks like Schwenke's into the pits.
Here we go. Travis Schwenke is going to pit in from second in pro. That's going to leave Iago Mores out on track, and well, guess we'll know soon enough how different their fuel strategies are.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on his pit stopped time. Dams, we said, was just under 14 seconds.
And Shane Larson now bringing his car into the pits as well from second overall.
A lot of the other GT3 cars I'm seeing, like for example, Jose Cabrera was over 30 seconds. Trey Divock was about 30 seconds. Jeff Jacobs was just under 30 seconds. Not seeing a lot of times. Schwenke back underway at 14.4, so just about 1 second longer than Mike Dam. Yeah. So maybe these Orion guys are onto something.
There you go. Just a touch longer than Mike Dam. But yeah, I was gonna say without a doubt, Dam. And I think Jeff Jacobs with the 2 fastest pit stops. And the Jacobs had come in, I believe he came in a couple laps earlier than Dam as well. So we'll see how the fueling works there. As we're watching right now, Nick Horvath in the number 82 machine, the black Lamborghini, on the pit lane as well. And now pitting in from the lead, Paulo Kui Grant, driver of the number 71 for Affinity Racing.
He's got an electrical issue. His lights keep flashing. I'm just kidding. He's doing that on purpose. Part of the pit lane thing, I believe.
Yeah, it's the part of the pit lane limiter. Oh, and look at this! One of the Flying Dragata brothers off in the grass.
That is Lucas.
And he is still trying to get that car back underway.
Yeah, there's not much left of the rear left of that car, and he's just trying to pull that Volkswagen Beetle out of the way at this point with the right rear of the car.
Yeah.
You can see that car is not doing well.
Mighty hurt. That's the good side. At this point, he might just want to take the tow, Larry, and there you go.
And he has. He put himself out of his misery and
right.
pulled himself back in the hard way. So waiting for my timing screen to recalculate gaps here. I do see the Schwenke came out in front of Mike Dam. I'm trying to see where he is.
Yeah, at the moment, I'm showing a difference of only, I think, about... let's see here as they move up. Yeah, it's about a second.
Yep, so they are somewhat together on track. You can see
There
them
they
there
are,
on
and
the
there
ticker.
they are.
Yep, on the ticker. They're in 4th and 5th. Again, keeping our eye on them as Agent Parente now assumes the lead in GT3. Hopefully to get his bonus point for leading a lap. Chris Thorman a couple seconds back as Iago Moraes has done his pit stop, but his quite a bit slower. He looks like he's about 2 seconds or so behind Mike Dan.
As we're watching Baron Glover right now, as he is currently your GT3 AM leader, running 6th overall. And he's got Larry at the moment, and Glover has not come into the pits yet. He will likely be coming in very soon. At the moment, he has 6 cars between he and Nick Horvath running in 2nd currently in class course. Horvath has already taken his pit stop.
He has. It'll be interesting to see how close Horvath and Glover are after Glover takes his stop, because Horvath, as we recall, was leading this race in the GT3S for a long time until he had his spin, gave up the lead, dropped back by about 5 seconds or so. Yeah. We'll see where they are after Glover takes his stop, which won't be on this lap.
Yeah, it looks like the D2D car right behind him, David Payton, was going to take his way to the pits. Indeed he does.
Nicky O looks like he goes on by.
And Andrew Parente pitted in from the lead. Larry in GT3 Pro. Let's take a look at his pit stop time. 30.67, about 2 seconds longer than Dan.
Thorman and Payton have also made their stops, so that should, with the exception of Baron Glover, close the books on pit stops. We're just waiting for Glover to take his. But on the GT3 Pro ranks, that now leaves Travis Schwenke into the lead. Mike Dam right behind him. Iago Moraes about 2 seconds back. That's all on pit stop time. Parente now about 2 over seconds behind Iago Moraes. Young Mr. Dibdall, tires aren't roasting yet. About 2 seconds behind Parente. So it's about 2 seconds. Dan to Moraes, 2 seconds to Parente, 2 seconds to Dibdall. And down and down and down, 2 by 2, like the arc.
All right, and here you go. Here you can see now in the shot, we've got Schwenke, we've got Dam and Iago Moraes, not very far back, coming down the chute into the toe of the boot. Only about 0.3 of a second in a rear, or probably that's Dam about 0.3 of a second back, but about 2 seconds back from Schwenke and Dam at this point. Both of these drivers have 1 win on the season so far. Moraes looking for his first. And Baron Glover now brings his Ferrari onto the pit lane. He's going to pit in from the lead in GT3 AM, Larry, and the first of our GT3 was our GT3 leader for a few moments there. We'll see where he rejoins in comparison to Nick Horvath and Leonardo Dragata.
Yep, I'm going to keep an eye on Horvath as he makes his way around. He obviously, as we mentioned, was early leader. I suspect Glover might be able to resume in the lead, but it might be pretty close, probably less than 5 seconds to Horvath. So we'll keep our eye on that. And there is Nick Horvath in that black Lamborghini, making his way through that treacherous turn 9, right there behind the 64 of Payton. Payton, of course, in the GT3 Pro category. All right, so Glover is out of the pits on the pit out stretch. He looks like he is going to hold that lead, but how close is it going to be? Oh, I don't know.
It's gonna be very close, Larry, because Glover was in the pits for a full 2 seconds longer than Horvath.
Oh, look at this. And a slide for Horvath as he comes to turn 1 is going to make it even closer. He looked like he had a free, fair game to lead this race once again. But a bit of a bobble there at the apex has left him behind Glover, and we have a race on our hands, boys and girls, in GT3 AM.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, here we go, Larry, as we are now almost at, yes. And I've told you, lots of ice cream places at Watkins Glen. You'd be very well much at home there. As we've got battle now. This is the battle for 12th overall, but more importantly for the lead in GT3 AM.
And if they start to battle, you've got one of our Dragados. We got Leonardo Dragata, who had been a big mover through this field.
About
he
4
is
seconds
quick
back.
tonight. Yeah.
Matter of fact, you see there he was just coming into the shot at the top of the boot there.
And he's been running about a half a second quicker than these guys. So again, here we are, 35 minutes away, minute 45 a lap, a half a second a lap faster. Do the math. We could have a three-way fight on our hands here before this is said and done. You like how I did that math?
Worked for me. Who am I to dispute that math, Larry?
Full abacus in works here.
Yes. And you can already, as we watch Nick Horvath take looks to the inside, Larry, you can sense the tension here, whereas you don't really feel it with Schwenke and Dam. That Schwenke and Dam seem to have been in that position so many times, and they're just working together. And maybe they'll start fighting with a couple laps to go, but I have a feeling this is going to go to the checker.
I think they're going to start fighting now. But we were just talking about how Leonardo Dragata was going to make a move. I don't know if you caught the background of that last shot as these guys are coming down across start finish. Dragata was in the background punching the wall on driver's left coming around the final corner, so he has lost some momentum.
That would be problematic for him, Larry. And now he's probably punching himself rather than the wall as we watch Glover and Horvath come through the inner loop. And for a moment there, Glover took a look to the inside, tried to make a move down and beat Glover to the inner loop. Couldn't get it done.
Oh, yeah. Horvath, very clean exits. So you can see he's in the slow in, fast out mindset. Now he's going to try and just pressure a little bit to Glover, force Glover into that early apex and try to get that. There it is, the slow in, fast out, late apex. Now he's got the advantage going into the heel.
That's right. He's got the inside line coming down into the heel. Poking a bit to the inside there. Is there door to door? Maybe possibly a little bit of contact there. I mean, but obviously it's got to be very difficult right now for Baron Glover. Is looks like Nick Horvath may be having some small connectivity issues there, but Nick Horvath now moves to the lead in GT3 AM. Glover back in second, and as we mentioned, Leonardo Dragata, he now finds himself about 5 seconds back from this battle.
And you'll see him, there he is, swinging around that last corner, this time a little cleaner. He scares the wall, this time without scaring himself, as the GTPs now start to make their way through cleanly around turn 1 and up the next hill. That looks like Guillaume, who's currently in third. I didn't catch the number on the other. We'll see here if Glover can stick with Horvath. He's in the draft. He's going to stay a couple tenths back. Like I said, Horvath's been very clean on his exits. Maybe Glover can learn a little bit about on some of these moves on the lines that Horvath is taking and stick with him and make this a game right up to the end. Or does Leonardo Dragata have something to say about this?
Yeah, I think the other prototype car may have been May, but this is really shaping up to be a great battle. Here, I was going to say, hoping that and I don't want to break out the announcer's curse here now, which I might be doing, that Leonardo Dragata keeps that Porsche nice and clean, because gosh, he doesn't want to be donating replacement parts for the other one that's sitting on the pit lane right now from Lucas Dragata, that's got that left rear all bent askew. As we jump back to the battle for the lead in GT3 Pro.
So while we're sitting here talking about the third place driver in GT3 AM possibly making it a three-way battle against the top two that are fighting, that's exactly what's happening in here in GT3 Pro. As Yago Moraes is flying right now in that Lamborghini.
Yeah, so we've got Yago Moraes, and we keep saying it, Larry. Andrew Parente, he is there more or less. I mean, he's only about another 3 seconds back from them, and if these three get caught up in anything and actually go through some of these corners side by side, Parente might be in this as well.
Well, as a broadcaster, I shouldn't be rooting for anybody, but can I root for a driver just to mix it up? Not necessarily rooting anybody to win. I don't have money on this, but I would love to see Yago Moraes mixing it up with these two Orion teammates. Stop letting everybody play nice, gentlemanly like with each other, and start mixing it up. Throw one down to the apex once in a while, see what happens. He got 29 minutes.
Just throw a haymaker from 10 car lengths back. Yeah.
Act like a public race and race to the apex. That's pretty much how it goes. We'll see if Yago Moraes is gentlemanly though.
Just lock them up. Slide right on in there.
I didn't say the full-on, send it, stamp it, and everything. But Yago Moraes is not a teammate. He doesn't have a teammate to these two in front of him, and maybe he doesn't want to see these guys just keep lapping for 25, 30 more minutes and just, shake each other in the hand. So nice, well done, guys. Yago Moraes wants to win this thing. Of the front three, is the only one doesn't have a win yet in this young season. The other two races have been won by each of the two in front. He would like to get one. He is the fastest car on track. Of fastest GT3 on track.
GT car, yeah.
Of the three, he's quick. You can see right now pressuring Mike Dam. So I think he's got a shot. And you talked about Parente. The more fighting Moraes does with Dam and Schwenke, the better chance that Parente has. And Parente's moving pretty good with these guys right now as well. Look at this, side by side.
We saw there as Moraes took the look to the inside on Mike Dam. Mike Dam had that covered. But they're now, there definitely is contact, Larry, coming through the bus stop. And Mike Dam has to grab a little bit of grass on exit. He's going to give up the position, but the big wide hips of that Lamborghini got into the BMW there, and just gently nudged him aside. But even with the contact there, Larry, the BMW looked a heck of a lot more stable than when Dam had problems through there earlier on.
Well, I tell you what, I finished my ice cream already. I got to grab some popcorn and have a seat for this little bit of drama that's unfolding here, because Moraes realized he was faster, got a great run off of turn one all the way up the S's and said, I don't care if it's easy or not to go to the bus stop too wide. He did it and said, okay, now I'm past one of them. Let me go catch the other. Now, Dam, if he wants to protect his teammates, should really try and force Yago into some defensive moves. And maybe let Schwenke start pulling a little bit. But right now, Dam would love to get by, because look at the background. There's another Lamborghini.
Yeah, Larry, I was just going to say that when we looked at just a lap ago, there was 3 seconds between Parente and our top 3 drivers. It's now under 2.
Yeah, no, Parente is moving fast right now. Fastest car on the track the last 2 laps, and he wants to make a piece out of this. We're going to have a 4-way fight here with 27 minutes to go. This is getting intense. Normally we'd be talking about this being the last 10 minutes or so. We've got 27. This is still a young race. It's got a lot of room to go, and here comes a GTP to go through this battle. This ought to be fun.
Oh my gosh, yeah, here we go, poking down to the inside. And is that Larson coming down?
I think it is. Yeah,
that was Larson, and made pretty good and quick work of them. Didn't really upset that battle much at all. Maybe Dam lost about a 3/4 of a car length in making way for the GT car here as they come down in the 6th.
Just put Andrew Parente into the car length the 2 closest to him, because he's the only one out of those 3 that got a good clean run all the way from turn 1 through the bus stop. But of course, Parente behind him now is Brandon Guillaume.
I was going to say he may not have that opportunity now with Guillaume right behind him coming up at us out of the toe. And this is, again, the battle. Let's jump back to this battle for the lead in GT3 AM. Second car in line, that is Nick Horvath in the number 82 machine. He's your leader. Getting bottled up, it looks like, just a little bit behind David Payton, the D2D eRacing Lamborghini. That is one of our pro class drivers. And look at that, Horvath comes right underneath that machine. And that is going to now make things maybe just a little bit more difficult for Baron Glover in the white Ferrari, sitting there right behind. As looks like they're all coming up. Is that
it's John Casey?
Oh, John
78
Casey.
In the Porsche. Yep.
Yeah.
And that's our overall leader, Peliculi Grant, saying, I'm just going to sit behind these guys for a minute. This is a pretty good
I got 30 seconds to figure it out. Exactly.
I think he just popped a batch of his own microwave popcorn inside of his hybrid, and he's going to get a good view of this battle himself, and right from the middle of it. And it's Russ Ruddick in the 95 at the front of this train. And Grant just carefully, one by one, saying, pardon me, excuse me, pardon me. I'm sure he's asking for some Grey Poupon somewhere along the way. maybe some poi.
Problem is you can't roll down the windows all that easily.
He's asking for poi, not mustard.
Wow, and look at this. And David Payton moves all the way to the inside to I don't know if he's still if that was a fight for position, if he's still just trying to get ahead of get ahead of Horvath, but it's certainly making things very difficult for Baron Glover right now.
Well, was that May there in the?
Yeah, I was gonna say I think that's May in the prototype right behind. Never mind making it difficult for Glover. When Peyton pulled over driver's right, he pulled right in front of the prototype car, who no doubt had to just get completely out of the throttle.
And technically, all of these cars in this train, I believe, are for actual position in the overall race. Because I believe, if I have this right, some of these drivers, like Ruddock and May, and some of them are on different laps because of the amount of time they each spent in the pits. So it's hard to tell, but they're having a heck of a scrap, as they say. As the 25 rolls.
That's Marlon Jones, I think, there. Trying to dice through.
As he's one of the ones I think that took a 20-minute pit stop.
Yeah, he's currently sitting 26th overall, 5th in class, and yes, a 20-minute pit stop.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, it's great to see these GTP cars having a deep enough field where, even if you want to get back in the race, because getting up to 5th place is a lot more points than being back in 7th or 8th, whereas if you just quit out of the race, that's where you'd end up. So going after the points, staying in this, it's good practice. And it's Watkins Glen. Who doesn't want to race here? By the way, second pit stops.
That's right. Second pit stops for our GTP cars, and that was our leader, Palakui Grant. We'll see how long this one runs.
Shane Larson.
And obviously not taking tires that time, Larry. And now we do know the GTP cars, if they are taking tires, they're going to go up in the air. And if they're not, like that one, it did not that time. It stayed down on the ground and very quick, only 8.2 seconds in the pit stall.
And his lead over Larson down to 13 seconds. We'll see if Larson has to make a similar splash and go stop for himself. So we'll keep our eye on that as time progresses. That should be Dragana, currently 4th in GT3 AM, right and behind the 12 of Divock.
Divock right ahead of him.
So Dragana still falling back. I wonder if he took on some damage from some of the interactions with the blue arm code. Got a little bit of a wrinkle in his paint.
Yeah, it's like on the right front.
I know that the left side also clobbered that wall pretty good coming off the last corner to the front straight. You see the car just not quite sticking mid-corner at apex like you would like it to.
And here we go. This is the battle for second in GT with Morey and Mike Dam, and Dam's still not able to find a way around the Lamborghini here. For about 5 laps now?
It has been a number of laps. He's just continuing to chase him down. But I will say Morey's doing a great job of closing the gap to Schwenke, because they had built a gap for Schwenke just a bit ago when the pass happened from Morey's on Dam. They're closing it back up, and if I got this right, that looks like, yep, there you go. You've got the 62 of was right in front of them if they're working their way through on that traffic. But that's just going to help all of them, hopefully, if that cause Schwenke to lift a little bit for Morey's and Dan's.
Brockway.
Brockway, of course. Yep. I should have known. He's always run 62.
Exactly.
Sorry.
And Parente still continuing to close things down. Actually, what are we looking at? Probably about 1.1 seconds separating Parente from Dam. And a little wiggle right from there. Mike Dam coming out of 9.
Yeah. Tough to get that power down. There's still some more traffic for them to work through. This isn't like GTPs working through the GT3s where there's a huge speed delta. This is a much more careful move here, and you can see the John Casey, I think they're in the 78 moving over to let some of these guys on by to let the battles play through. Gentlemanly thing to do. Hovering at about 9/10, Schwenke to Morey's first to second with 20 minutes out still.
And so, Larry, I'm looking at not amazement, but just drawing the comparison between this round and the Hungaroring as we take a look at the different number of off-tracks or incident points the drivers are picking up. With Schwenke and Mores currently, as best I can tell, with 0 incident points. Mike Dam with 2, and I think most of these drivers are somewhere in the 14 to 15 range.
Yeah, obviously those numbers they're relative, but they're not exact to what the sim has actually charged them, because I've got Schwenke with 1, but clearly I think at Hungaroring we're adding up to seeing 20 and 30, and now we're seeing less than 5 for these drivers. Very different track here. You can use a lot of curbs. Frankly, here, if you're picking up an off track, you're probably spinning in the grass, except turn 1. Turn 1, you will pick them up if you run wide. And sometimes you go too wide, you might pick up a slowdown.
And running very wide there, coming out of the heel of the boot, Mike Dam, and maybe a little bit just seemed to turn in a little bit early there and run much wider, much earlier than we normally see. And going around there, that was David Payton. In the number 64 machine.
He was right in the middle of all that just a few moments ago.
Exactly. And so it looks like he is now going to be spending some time on the pit lane. And it sounds like we have a car, Larry. Sounds like, and it hasn't left the track yet, sitting on the outside coming out of the final corner. That some of our other drivers may have to deal with as well.
Yeah, things are just a little bit hectic at times, but here at the front of the GT3 Pro, Schwenke, that lead 8/10 now as Moraes still chipping away bit by bit, a little bit of ebb, a little bit of flow, but he's staying in the game.
Yeah, and there was the replay, Larry. Whoa, talk about a little dance there. The replay of Payton going into the bus stop and hitting the Armco, going into the bus stop, and he ended up going in reverse just ahead of Baron Glover. Glover had to bring the car almost to a complete stop as Payton was just nose to nose with him coming out of the bus stop, and now Glover sitting, I believe, close to 7 seconds back from Nick Horvath. So that race for the lead in GT3 AM, the complexion has changed immensely, and Glover now has to worry about Dre Divock, who is only a couple car lengths back, no longer. He may I was gonna say he may luck into the lead for the second time tonight. You remember early on, the GT3 AM driver was just sitting crossways over by turn 8 as Glover drove by, but I think with about 15 minutes left here, might be slim and none that happening again.
Well, how things can quickly change. Again, if we were looking at a normal race like we traditionally do for a lot of the season, 75 minutes, we'd be looking at a white flag, but we have got 16 more minutes of this. Nothing is decided. Look at this train. Look at Inter Parente right on the back of Mike Dam as they come through that bus stop. So your front 4 in GT3 Pro, just 2 seconds between them.
Oh, Morey's running very wide, coming through the outer loop, and that's going to give an opportunity to Mike Dam, and Dam's going to take advantage. He's going to slide right underneath the Lamborghini and move Mike Dam back up into second.
Opportunity knocked there for Mike Dam as Yago Moraes really struggled to chuck that in there. Don't know if maybe his tires are starting to go, but certainly didn't look comfortable there as he was ahead to run wide. He was able to hold the 3rd spot, but oof, that was wide.
Yeah, you go out there and there's that little bit of an apron over by the Armco there, Larry. But Moraes came up on where it switches and transitions back to grass, and may have had the rear wheels go over the grass there. There wasn't much more room for him to use, and Mike Dam took advantage.
As Palikui Grant goes on by the GT3 Pro leaders for probably, maybe the last time. We'll see if he gets one more lap on them before this is done. His lead on Shane Larson, who has been quick. His last couple laps especially, he's about 18 seconds between them. So Grant can't quite go too conservative. But for Schwenke, that little move there for Moraes this last lap allowed the gap to now grow. So now it's up to Mike Dam to get it back under that 1 second, see if he can sniff some draft.
Yeah, if he's willing to do that, or if he's just willing to run interference for the 16 car.
Nah, come on. We've talked to Orion. They don't have any team orders.
No,
There's
never.
none of that. He might be a gentleman and maybe not make a dive bomb pass, but I don't know if he's going to let Travis walk away with this. And I really don't think Yago Moraes and Angel Parente are going to let
Certainly
Mike
not.
Dam do that to them.
Well, whatever afflicted Moraes the last lap, Larry, I think he may have been a little more judicious with the throttle that time. Didn't get the push that he had last time by, and but he's still losing some ground to Mike Dam here, as he's almost a full second back from the number 93 machine at this point.
Yeah, he's got to stick that in that gap. We saw him just 10 minutes ago chipping away at Mike Dam and then able to make that pass. He's got to have that kind of pace again. Angel Parente, of course, could try and pressure him a little bit in a very similar Lamborghini there. But for Moraes, he's got to put that pace back in and see if he can close this gap, because Dam is doing that to Schwenke. He's picked up a couple tenths here on this lap, almost to where he can almost sniff a little bit of draft once they come off of turn 1. You can see our lap chart there. He lost a couple tenths last time, but there you can see he just picked up 4 tenths on Travis Schwenke here on this last lap, 41. So it's happening. It's getting close.
And so, Larry, one of the things I've been also taking a look here is as we jump back, and this is the battle again for second in GT3 AM now with Baron Glover and Dre Divock. I've been watching the margins between Grant and Larson, which are now sitting at right about 19 seconds. Of course, Grant is one of only 2 of our prototype drivers who's come in for the second pit stop, and I'm starting to wonder whether Larson thinks he can make it all the way to the end based on that very early caution period or not. I'd be very surprised if he doesn't have to come in and take a splash with Larson, about 12 minutes left.
Yeah, I don't know that it's one of those risk-reward situations right now. There's probably no benefit to just fuel saving to the end, because the gap between he and Brandon Guillot behind him is 2 full laps.
2 full, yeah.
So it's really doesn't cost him anything. In fact, you can see Larson right there, or sorry, you can see Guillot just in front of Grant. So for Larson, he can take a pit stop. It doesn't cost him anything in terms of track position, but it does prevent the chance that maybe he'll run dry on his last couple laps. So if it's even close, don't be surprised if he comes in for that splash and go. These guys, though.
I mean, and they're running almost identical lap times, Larry. That last time by a 44.02 to a 44.08.
Yeah, so let's... I do want to mention something, because all of the GT3 cars pit stops were in essentially the mid-20s and up, except for Travis Schwenke and Mike Dam. Their stops were under 15 seconds. I can't imagine that in 15 seconds they added enough fuel for 45 minutes to this race while everyone else needed 25 to 30 seconds.
Right.
So is it possible that these 2 leaders right now, GT3 Pro,
have to get a splash at the end?
Splash at the end. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm just theorizing. Again, I don't have an insight to their fuel gauge, but if it's going to happen, it's going to be in the next couple minutes. Divock battles for second.
Yeah. As Grant and Guillot both go by. Of course, Guillot running in third in that pink prototype car, but he is 2 laps down from our leader right now.
Pretty good battle though here for the second spot of the podium in GT3
and Divock gets a great run, Larry, up through the S's.
Aggressive. Glover really got defensive.
Yeah, almost pushed Divock to the dirt, then moved over, tried to open up to get into the corner. But there you go, Dre Divock now running second in AM. And move Glover back into third. They've got a pretty good margin back to Jeff Jacobs now, about 8-9 seconds, about 8 seconds back to Jacobs.
Well, it's not over until, as they say, a certain vocalist begins to sing, and I can tell you, we're not quite there yet. So we'll keep our eyes on these guys. Travis Schwenke in the 16, Mike Dam in the 93. Do they have enough fuel on board to make it to the end? If they don't, this race could fall into the laps of Yago Moraes and Ninja Parente and Dean Dibdall, who are all in a position to take over that podium should Schwenke and Dam need to stop. Perhaps all of them do. We'll have to see.
There is that possibility. As time is winding down and only 10 minutes, a little less than 10 minutes remaining here at the Glen for the Ricmotech World Challenge, the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge presented by Performance Texas Elite Graphics, and new this season, Butt Kicker, and again Larry, Butt Kicker, they're backing things up here. They're going to be giving away a Butt Kicker Gamer Plus package. It's a $280 valued package to one lucky driver here in the World Challenge. I don't know how that's going to be given out, but nice to have them aboard.
Absolutely is. They picked a great week to come on board here as their introduction to this series.
Lots of drivers getting their butts kicked this week.
A lot of butt kicking going on.
Yeah.
For butt kickers, so perfect for them this week. As we had a shot there of Larson still trying to stay in this and has not made that second fuel stop yet for Shane Larson. So we'll see if perhaps that yellow flag to start the race may have been enough for him.
And Larry Parente, he got a real good run up through the S's. Moraes poked to the inside just a little bit, managed to hold him off, and Parente now looked like he got out of the throttle a little bit there, lost a couple car lengths. Larry, let's take a look. Shane Larson, who's been running second, and we were talking about whether or not and when he'd pit in. He was our pole sitter tonight. We know he had some brake issues right up front, and he had he had hardware issues, basically sim rig issues, and that car just goes right into the wall.
Well, and nice recovery, I gotta say that, to just glide the wall, do it quick, whatever he did, reset, and continue.
Yeah, and it looks like that car, and he's, he had a lap and a half on Brandon Guillot, so as long as he can keep that thing moving and running, he can hold on to a second place here tonight. And every lap we watch as these two Orion teammates come out of turn 11, Larry, to see if they break for the pit lane. It looks like Andrew Parente now has fallen off the pace here. One driver who does need fuel and needs a splash at the end, it's Dean Dibdall, who is now pitting in from 5th in Pro.
Yeah, this will be interesting. And his first stop earlier, I think, was about 22 seconds. So now, which was one of the shorter ones than the Orion drivers. So he's going to come in, should be out of there. My guess is about this 5-6 seconds. Yes, it was 7 seconds. He's back in the way, so there goes his chance to have a top 5 unless something else happens. I think he was hoping to maybe even put this thing on the podium should the Orion guys have to stop. But there we go, somebody else not able to make it the full distance.
Oh, and here we go as Schwenke and Dam come up on some slower traffic. Dam took a look to the inside, not close enough. Never mind the fact that he would have had that slower car he would have ended up putting in a pick for himself. But Dam now has managed to close things down. with only 5 minutes remaining.
Yep, so we're getting inside of that 5-minute mark. Moraes and Parente have lost touch a little bit with Swanky and Dam. You can see there now about 2 seconds between them all. Again, the Orion guys not stopping.
We're looking at is we've got now about 4 minutes on the clock. We're looking at, and of course it all depends on where we are with our leader, Palakui Grant. But what would you say, Larry, GT3, about 3 laps remaining?
Possibly, yeah, as we're just inside of 4 minutes at 1.5 minutes apiece, depending on position. Yeah, 3's a pretty good estimate at this point. And there is Grant right now. Coming down
up
towards
on our leaders, yeah.
But he's got to put them down one more lap before this is said and done. Also out there, a battle ongoing is Robert Hartley. We hadn't talked about him in a while. He's been working his way through the field. Yep, you can see him now there trying to make the move on Chris Thorman. One of the T2D drivers. Again, Hartley, 19 spots from where he originally started this race. Now has himself up into, I believe, about 5th.
All right, Larry, and pitting in now is Nick Horvath.
Oh, wow.
Who had spent some time leading this race. And so he's going to now fall back into 4th position, as he now needs to take at least 4th, as he needs to take on some fuel in a very short pit stop for him. Only about 5 seconds, and he is back out. But Dre Divock, again, your leader, Baron Glover, running in 2nd in AM, then Jeff Jacobs, and Jacobs considerably further back, over 10 seconds, almost 13 seconds back.
I'm seeing you in the background. There it is, Moraes.
Yeah.
Getting a move by Parente on the outside. They're going to go side by side, down into 1. Long run with a very bad run there for Moraes.
And you notice there for a second, Parente was thinking about trying an over-under coming out of 1, which typically, with the speeds that you carry through there, not going to work very well. He wisely decided to pick the car, get the car back in line, tries to get a bit of a draft off of the prototype car of Guillot to take another stab at Moraes as they come through the bus stop.
Say, is that Jose Cabrera who was just behind them as we flash back up to this battle of Thorman and Hartley for 5th place in GT3 Pro. They're about 20 seconds or so out of the lead in this, but again, the way we're seeing these extra pit stops happening, who knows? This could be for the win.
And there is Palakui. Nope, that isn't Grant. That is Shane Larson. Back underway. There's Palakui Grant, who is our leader. He is coming through the final corner right now. It should be taking the white flag here, Larry, as we now have just 1 minute remaining on the clock. And there you go. Barney's got the white flag in the air here at Watkins Glen. So 1 lap to go. Palakui Grant with almost a minute advantage over Shane Larson. So let's jump back to this battle here for the lead in GT3 Pro.
In the background there, I just saw a car hitting the rail, and that kind of looked a little bit like Lucas Dragata. I'm not quite sure if it was or not. He's had a bit of a struggles here in the second half of this race, but he was right there near where some of our drivers like Moraes and Parente were coming through. So hopefully everybody got through clean, and that might have been the victim of Brandon Guillot missing a left front wheel.
Yep, that would be a problem, as Guillot now for his 3rd run into the pit lane, and well, maybe it was a 3rd limp into the pit lane for him.
And I will say the Orion guys are not going to take a 2nd stop. I'm not going to say they don't need one, but they certainly aren't going to take one.
Well, at this point, they're not going to have a choice, I don't think, Larry.
They will not be taking an extra pit stop. They're going to go to the end and hopefully get around the last 1.5 miles or so to the finish. But does Dam have a last gas pass? Does he have an opportunity to make his way around Travis Schwenke?
So if one of them runs out of fuel, Larry, what do? Do you push your teammate across the line to the win?
Well, Let's see if that becomes of it. This guy, though, took his 2 stops and doesn't need a push. He's pushing the whole field. Palikui Grant, 3 rounds, 3 wins in GTP.
All right, here we go. Let's jump back to the battle for the lead and the win in GT3 Pro. It is Travis Schwenke, our round 1 winner. Mike Dam right behind him, our round 2 winner. They're locked nose to tail with only 2 more corners remaining. Dam opening things up, trying to get a run out of the final corner. It's a fairly long run down to the checkered flag. It is definitely a possibility to drag race past, but not tonight, as Travis Schwenke is going to take the win in GT3. Mike Dam will finish 2nd. Iago Mores will cross the line in 3rd, and just off the podium, our guest earlier on tonight, Eduardo Parente. And so we take a look now at GT3 AM. And Baron Glover, driver of the number 13 Ferrari. It is definitely a lucky number for him tonight as he makes his way through the boot for the last time. He's got an 11-second advantage on Divock.
Yeah, both he and Divock need to get to the end, but I do believe Baron, I thought, took that extra pit stop. Maybe not, but he only has a couple of corners to go.
Nope. He apparently thought that, knew that the early yellow flag was going to be enough that he wouldn't have to take a splash of gas. And Baron Glover on the very last 2 corners, if he can make it around here, he's going to come away, Larry, with his 2nd win in a row.
Yes, he is, and Dre Divock might be winning 2nd place by default, because right now, looking at his speed on track, it is low.
It's very, very slow. And he's got to go uphill. So,
but the cars behind him in Jacobs, Horvath, Cabrera have all finished because they were a lap down to the overall leader.
At this point, he's just got to. He's got to find a way to the check. Yeah. Technically, I don't know if he needs to cross the line, Larry,
because he's already completed previous number of laps plus part of a lap. Should give him 2nd place no matter what, but I'm sure he would like to see the checker.
Well, we're gonna see how that starter. There you go, and he's decided he's had enough.
Absolutely crazy race today, Greg.
And
one of the wildest.
The call from race control area is if Divock can make it to the start-finish line for the photo op, they'd appreciate it.
He already called the tow, but unbelievably crazy night. The only thing consistent was Palikui Grant got another win, and never makes it look easy, but of the field, he just looked like the class of it tonight. Great win.
All right, so Larry, let's do this. Let's take a quick break, thank some of our partners, and when we come back, we'll talk to some of our podium finishers across all 3 classes here tonight at Watkins Glen. You're watching the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge presented by Performa Texas Elite Graphics and Butt Kicker. We'll be right back.
Extreme scoring to do the work for you.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name-brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
The search is over. The most comprehensive league scoring solution is here, with the ability for multi-level championships, custom incident tracking, post-race time penalties, support for heats, drop weeks display, multi-car team scoring, advanced web widgets, rookie championships, a custom paint system, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
And welcome back to Watkins Glen International, where you've just seen the Ricmotech World Challenge presented by Performance Texas Elite Graphics and Butt Kicker. And let's congratulate our winners here. Paulo Kui Grant taking the win in GTP with Shane Larson finishing second. Travis Schwenke winning GT3 Pro. Mike Dam, his teammate, finishing second. And then Baron Glover from ZP Motorsports, or pardon me, from not from ZP, from Glass Pro Sport, taking the win with Dre Divock from the wrong stuff. I always feel so weird saying that. Dre Divock coming home second in class. And Larry, I think we've already got a number of them all lined up to talk to. Let's do this. Why don't we bring in our second place finisher in GT3 AM, and that's Dre Divock.
All right, Dre Divock. Wow, this might be one of the craziest races that we have ever seen in this series, all the way down to being on the podium, but I'm not even sure you finished the last lap of the race. Tell me about what was going on tonight.
Oh, man. It was all about strategy, fuel saving, man. And the last, I could tell I was starting to catch everybody and was like, oh, wait a second, this might work out. And then I was like, oh, I'm good on fuel. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, no, I'm not. And I was like, oh, no, I'm clutching in every corner. I'm trying my best just to coast as much as I can. And then Baron took over because I lost, ran out of fuel. But man, what a race! I don't think I've sweated this much in my life.
That just looked nuts. I mean, it looked like a constant passing traffic of either slower or faster cars. Not even to mention what went on in the opening laps. I mean, how did you survive? What was your view of that? The first two laps of the race before the yellow came out.
It was just, I saw cars like everywhere, and I'm just trying. I had to stop on that lead lap. I was on the side of the road waiting to pass somebody, and luckily they called it out and got my position back. But wow, that was probably some of the most intense racing, not just like battling, but like with the GTPs coming around and making sure that you're giving them a little room. And oh man, it was insane. That was a blast, absolute blast.
Those GTPs looked insanely fast, and if you probably didn't have time to think as fast as they were coming through that traffic.
You don't. You just got to stick your line, man, and hopefully they understand and can make the move around you.
Unbelievable night. So it's starting to be a routine for you. 3 races, all second places in this class. Got you surprisingly, I believe, second in points right now. We'll figure all that stuff out later. But great finish tonight. Anybody you want to give a thanks to for this one?
Big shout out for Butt Kicker coming in and sponsoring the league, and thanks for teammates for helping me out with a little bit of a setup and getting a little quicker around Watkins Glen.
Well, awesome stuff. Another great finish, even if the fumes decided to give up there in the last couple of quarters. But another great second place for you, Dre.
Thank you guys so much.
All right, there you go. Dre Divock finishing second tonight in GT3 AM. So why don't we bring in now the recipient of those fuel issues and taking the win, and what did I say that it wouldn't happen twice, Larry, for Baron Glover tonight? But Baron Glover taking the win here at Watkins Glen in GT3 AM.
Baron Glover, I tell you, we were watching the race saying, well, he's holding down a solid second. Then, oh, hey, look, the leader spun. He's in the lead. And then, he got passed. And, he made a second place is a good finish. And then, oh, hey, look, you're back into the lead. It's a win again tonight. Baron, tell me about what was going through your mind through the ups and downs.
Yeah, that was crazy. The caution at the beginning threw all my fuel calculation right out the window. So I was just kind of winging it after that. I didn't know if I should maybe pit before the green came out, and if that would give me enough to make it on one stop. But I just figured I'd keep the track position. I'd stay out there, and whatever happened from there happened. And I actually just kind of estimated, because I don't use an app. I use my own fuel calculations. So I just kind of estimated at the end what I was going to need. I think I was about 2 laps over, which cost me a few seconds. It put me closer to some of the guys than I wanted to be. But I guess it paid off in the end, because I saw both of them stop, and I was pretty happy about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the attention you can pay through this and try to just save that one extra lap or the 2 extra laps really does come on through. And for you, this is looks like 2 wins in a row for you. And tonight being this 90-minute madness to be able to come out alive, let alone on top, is a heck of a feat. So another win for you. Awesome job there. Anybody you want to give a special thanks to?
As always, my wife. She watches the races with me, watches the broadcast, and critiques what I do, and she's into it. So, again, shout outs to my wife.
Awesome stuff. We got to get her own sim rig. Maybe she can join us for the next round.
More importantly, as long as she doesn't critique what we do, Larry. I think we're okay.
Good point. All right, well, Ted, you can go ahead and celebrate with her tonight. Another victory for you, Baron. Congrats.
All right, thank you, guys.
All right, there you go. Baron Glover, driver for Glass Pro Esport, and the lucky 13 for Rory taking the win tonight in GT3 AMP. All right, let's move over now. Looks like we only have our winner tonight in GT3 Pro. That is Travis Schwenke, driver of the number 16 Orion Racing Machine. Let's bring him on in.
Travis, I think you're the only one who came in for interviews at a GT3 Pro. The other guys are all either still trying to get more fuel in their car, or I don't know what's going on. But what a race. Tell me a little bit about it with the battle with you and Mike and all the other things going on around you guys.
Yeah, I think it's a fuel thing as well, right? Everyone needs fuel. Obviously, the caution helped us because this was going to be you had to stretch it, and I was kind of already in stretch mode, so. At the beginning, I knew, I hate to do it, but it's the championships on the line, so I kind of had to call out the start infringement on Iago because he had great pace here. So I knew I wasn't worried, but then I saw Mike getting away, so I was like, uh-oh, now I got to start pushing. And it was actually a little blessing in disguise because then I had my 2 fuel numbers. I knew what my fuel save number and I knew what my outpace number was with the new adjustment after the pace laps. So I was able to kind of get the right fuel in, and I still had to save a little bit, and it was I was just kind of running a pace there at the end. But I knew Mike was coming. I kind of asked him if he had to take more fuel. Should you wait for more fuel? Because I knew he was coming. This was really his race to lose. He had great pace here tonight.
We're just amazed that you guys only took 1 stop, if we got that right, and your stop was the shortest stops of anyone, even shorter than the folks that stopped twice. I don't know what you're doing. As I said to Greg in the break here before we did the interviews, what kind of smoky Unix stuff is going on there in the Orion side? Are you guys, do you have it just down to use some sort of special lightweight fuel that sips it? What are you guys doing?
No, I'm usually not the greatest on fuel, but I've been working on it for a few years now because I'm just bad at it. But the clutch paddle is really my ticket. I changed fuel maps just a couple times, but I knew I didn't need to save as much as I would have needed to save if it was green the entire time. So I was just trying to hit a fuel number and just using that 3.1 liters a lap as my bogey, and going from there, letting the lap time to kind of dictate what that fuel was.
I tell you what, it's very true. Racing isn't just being fast in every corner. You got to be calculating smart. You got to get your way through the race, because ultimately the goal is to see the checker first, and you've done that now. 2 out of the first 3. So got you, I think, into the points lead. It's close. I don't know. I'll look at it later. But for that and another win tonight, Travis, who do you want to give a special thanks to?
Same group, Ricmotech for this, and actually now we have the new sponsor. So there's some butt kicker on board. So. That's really good to see that growth. So thank them for joining us, and hopefully we could represent them well.
Oh, awesome stuff. Congrats again on that victory. Well done tonight.
All right, there you go. Travis Schwenke, your winner tonight in GT3 Pro from Orion Racing. All right, so Larry, I think we have a lot to talk to Mr. Larson about.
We do.
Here tonight. This might run a whole nother 90 minutes, depending on how you want to handle it. But let's talk now to Shane Larson, and driver from The Wrong Stuff, finishing 2nd tonight at Watkins Glen.
Shane Larson, so fast. We had seen your practice times, your qualifying times, had this thing out on the front, on the pole position here tonight, and just things started to fall apart. I'm starting to wonder, are you on Ricmotech's site right now with your credit card out and buying some equipment?
Solid burn. You got me there. Yeah, I was feeling really good about this week. Obviously, the practice times kind of resemble that. Me and Piliku was even talking in the waiting room about the pace and looking forward to the race today. But yeah, just coming back onto the NASCAR track, Wheel just decided, no, we're just gonna hard brake and just turn left and not do anything. Which, yeah, kind of sucked. The race kind of ended before it even started. So,
and then it did look like did it to you again there with about 10 minutes to go in the race.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
good point.
And that one, we just saw all of a sudden you're over in the guardrail on the left, but you were able to continue. Is that just not that much damage from that one and that wall contact?
Well, all the way back to the start when my wheel locked up for the first time, got rear-ended and my hybrid was out all race. I had no hybrid the entirety of the race. And then the spin turn one was a little bit of the rear end damage. So then obviously coming up to this incident at the end of the race, for whatever reason, Wheel decided to do the same thing, just lock up and put me in the guardrail. And thankfully it didn't give me a meatball flag and I could just finish it out because I knew I had, I think it was a lap or two on third place. So I just carried it home. But yeah, unfortunate for sure.
Yeah, well, unfortunate in a lot of ways, but also fortunate in the way this craziness and the hecticness of tonight's race went. Still able to come out home in second place. So with all of that going on, and hopefully in 2 weeks you'll have yourself a new wheel ordered and received. But really, ultimately a great finish to be able to push through without a hybrid drive and with the car handling like it was. Pretty darn impressive stuff here tonight. And I know that probably Kui is probably breathing a bit of sigh of relief that he's able to get a win here because I have a feeling you're going to be ready for him when we come back for the next round. But for the second place podium finish tonight, anybody you want to give a special thanks and shout out to?
Again, just everyone who's watching, my team, The Wrong Stuff, and everyone who sponsors this league and runs it, and everyone behind the scenes, because I know you guys do a lot of work and put on this great show. So thank you guys.
Well, congrats again, Shane. Awesome stuff. Second place tonight, but I can smell victories are coming very soon for you.
Yeah, we'll hope so.
All right, there you go. That was Shane Larson finishing second tonight here at Watkins Glen International in GTP. And so now, Larry, let's move on to our winner. This 3 races, 3 wins, and the coolest livery there is. I love that car. Let's talk to Palakui Grant, our winner tonight here at Watkins Glen.
All right, Palakui, what a crazy night tonight. Just cars all over the place, things happening around you. You seem to keep your cool. How are you able to keep your cool through a night like this?
Oh, it took, first off, a lot of practice. Getting through this track, I knew with all the fast twisting bends, the S's, and with the traffic, it was a matter of keeping it clean and just not bending it into the wall. Being able to flow through the traffic and keep a little bit more patient along with the traffic really helped here. And unfortunately for Shane, as I was really looking forward to it, he had amazing pace and just some unfortunate stuff in turn 1 and at the start. I was looking for a fight, but I have to say, look out, guys, because next week I know he's bringing it. It's gonna be some fireworks.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we just talked to him. It sounded pretty disappointed because he felt really ready for you this week. He was going to bring it to you. It was going to be a tough battle. And then before even seeing the green flag, things start to unravel. But I think he's coming to you. So this run now, you're 3 for 3. Looks great, but we have 4 more rounds and it's kind of looking like game's on.
Yes, no, definitely. I was just speaking to Shane earlier. I was just telling him, look, you keep bringing that, what you've had before, it's still wide open. I can tell you this much. I will be doing a drop race in a couple of weeks because I'm going to be up in Washington with my little brother. He's going on a trip. So I'm going to be dropping a race. So that means everything is, out in the open. He missed the first week, but that's not going to matter. We're both going to have drop weeks with did not starts. And so that just means if he can sweep it from here, or I have a string of bad luck, he can take the championship. And I'm all for it. I'm ready for a big battle. Bring it on, Shane.
Hey, Greg, probably he's doing our job for us. He's really.
I think we've got our own Mean Gene Okerlund over here ready to go.
Well, awesome job. You can come on to do commentary apparently as well too.
Yeah.
But for you, Palikui, great race tonight. Way to keep it clean. Come on victorious. You have 3 rounds, 3 races. Like you say, maybe there's some rocky roads coming, but for now it's 3 wins and 3 rounds. I'm sure you got some folks you want to thank.
Of course. First off, thank you, Papa and Tutu, and my little brothers, Haviki. I'm going to see you in a few weeks in March, but I'll give you another shout out next time. Bye. I love you guys, my family. I always thank you for your support. Sakurai, thank you for watching. I love it. And again, big shout out to Dragonair, owner of Fur Affinity. Thank you for letting me run this again. And again, you guys here in the booth, Apex, thank you very much. I saw the last broadcast. Good stuff. Once again, keep it up.
Sorry
Awesome
to
stuff.
disappoint
Thanks.
you this week.
Greg, he doesn't hate us yet.
I don't know. Maybe Austin can turn it around. Who knows? I don't know.
No.
You lost us. No, I'm just kidding. We like Austin. Well, congrats on
Check
the
your
way to
hardware
go.
every week, sir.
Oh no. Oh boy.
Well, congrats, Palikui. We had another win here tonight at Watkins Glen.
Thank you very much. Ahui ho. Aloha. See you guys later. Thanks.
All right, congratulations, Palikui, our winner for the 3rd round in a row here in GTP, and really humble guy. Great talking to Palikui, Grant. All right, so Larry, let's wrap things up here from the Glen and give everybody a little information about what's coming up next. So next Monday night, that's February 20th, we're going to have round number 4 of the Ricmotech Sports Car Series. Those are our GT4 and TCR cars. We're going to be at the Circuit de Magny-Cours, the brand new circuit on the iRacing platform. 60-minute run to the checkered flag, a big wide circuit. That should be a great race for those cars. And then in 2 weeks, February 27th, the World Challenge returns. We're going to be heading down to South America. Going to be heading to Sao Paulo and Interlagos for going back to the 75-minute format. Again, 8 p.m. Monday evening, all times Eastern. And then we are going to have the newly named Club Sports Series, replacing the Classic Sprint Series. And that is going to be May 1st. It's going to be the Mazda MX-5 Cup, Global MX-5 Cup cars, as well as the brand new Toyota GR86 cars, all on track at the same time. Can't give you the location yet, but I guarantee you it's going to be a great battle. So for Larry Lefty McLeod, for the 2 Johns, for Jonathan Grabowski, and for John Robertson, I'm Greg Ginsburg. We'll see you next Monday night from Magny-Cours. Have a great week, everybody.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.